Ooh, play music.
Welcome, guys, to the Post League Time pre-show. For people who don't know, Post League Time is the LCS analysis show. Or I guess in today's case, it's the promotion analysis show where we analyze the LCS games very specifically. Joining with me on the pre-show is my friend Yuna and my friend Josh. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Base Yuna. You may know me as that one retard who always duos with Scarra, but I also do other stuff like stream myself and make content on YouTube.
I don't need no introduction. The people know who I am. The guy who never gets paid.
No, the DJ of the pre-show, man. For people who are wondering, the musical hits you're hearing before the show, Josh is the one to bring them out. He's always just like, I'm going to drop this beat, and he just goes with it.
Well, usually what happens is, like, right before, I'm like, yo, you guys want to put it on anything? And I'm like, whatever, I'll just, like, play something that's, like, really, really troll. I'm like, I don't know.
I always want to play copyrighted music, but then the VOD gets muted.
Yeah, then the VOD gets muted. So you always have to, like, play, like, weird soundtrack stuff, because that's not stuff that,
So, Josh, everyone wants to know, what happened to your glasses?
I know, dude.
I just forgot to wear them.
You're not the same today. Oh.
Josh, you're back.
Oh,
Whoa,
hey,
dude.
what's up, guys? Zell here, and yeah, we're ready to start the show.
All right, so for people who are curious, we have a pre-show because it takes a little bit for Mark to be able to get from his riot job to join us plebs who don't have jobs here. And so it usually takes around like 30 minutes to 45 minutes for him to get here. It's Sunday, so it means he should be rather quick. He'll be here fairly soon, so we can get started toward our more LCS analysis segment. However, the pre-show is usually us just talking about current events, what's up, what's happening. Yesterday was April Fool's.
Yeah.
How do you guys like it?
Well, so we kind of talked about it yesterday. April Fool's is literally the worst time for the internet. It's like the worst time. Like,
so
everyone's just like posting like stupid shit that you just like can't avoid. You like all the places that you normally use the internet for, like Reddit and stuff, is like totally unusable for the entire day. And you're just like, well, great.
It is kind of, I like the Reddit thing. It was funny at first. So, like, when you see it, it's all that Mark.
Yeah, I was
Merrill
totally
stuff.
about it for, like the first hour. I was like, I started, like,
that's
upvoting
funny.
shit. And I'm like, ha, ha, ha. And then, like, 12 hours later, I'm like, I just want my
There's
beat
no
back.
content, damn it.
Yeah.
Everything is just Mark Merrill's our god.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
I actually thought that was super funny.
I liked it.
The Merrill.
Especially during like the Mark Merrill AMA where someone asked me like, what do you think about Monte Cristo? And he's like, who?
Yeah,
He said
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Holy
And then literally like
God.
all the comments were just like, oh shit.
That's so good. Holy shit.
I thought that was like
God.
the best part about the day for the subreddit for easily.
Yeah, that AMA was actually fire. It was
What's
actually
the
so
other
good.
big April Fool's things that you saw?
Well, there was the Rick and Morty thing, which was, by the way, like brilliant by them.
Yeah, it was so good because everyone's like, oh, you're messing with, you're not messing
Yeah,
with
they
me.
actually just streamed like some of their next season's episodes or whatever.
the first one, right?
It was the first one, yeah, and it's up available. You can watch it now, and it's a good episode. Like, I'm so excited for Rick and Morty to come back. Like, that show's so good.
I haven't watched it at all, though.
Yeah,
You haven't watched any of it?
I've watched 0 episodes of Rick and
You
Morty.
guys should do. So the first couple episodes are kind of hard to get through because like they like over-indexed on Rick's like burping, so it's just like kind of annoying. But as the show progresses, it gets so good, and then season 2 is like excellent.
All right, compare it to one of the best comedies of our generation,
I don't know, like name a comedy.
American Dad.
I think it's better than American Dad. I think American Dad's
The
pretty
look
good.
he gave me was actually so
I think
funny.
American Dad's like a fine show. I just think that Rick and
Best
Morty
comedies
is just way better.
of our generation. American Dad. I was like,
Yeah, okay, wait a second.
I was
Hold
like,
on.
you're fucking with. Josh was like,
Yeah, Josh was like, yeah,
yeah, American Dad. That's pretty good.
I would definitely not put it in the top, comedy shows of our time. But American Dad's like
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's,
but when he said best,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I
Not bad.
actually think American Dad is like the problem with that show, or one of the biggest problems is like it's the symptom of being worse than Family Guy.
I think
that's
it's
what
a
it
little
felt like.
different. It's a little different, but it's like the same formula. It's the same creator.
Yeah,
same animation.
exactly.
Like,
And like Family Guy's just better. Like almost
I
always.
think the first season.
I think the
Family Guy
worst
was
of
good.
Family Guy is worse than the average of American Dad. Because like Family Guy had like a brief period where like I just didn't like it. Like some of the episodes felt just bad, honestly. Like not funny. And then
But I think when the highs of Family Guy,
the highs of Family Guy were like
they're
really
they're
high.
so good.
Yeah, but we're missing the point, guys. Rick and Morty, you guys need to watch it. It's like tonally like way darker. Like basically Rick is like this suicidal genius, and like deep inside he's just like super sad and lonely, but he goes on these adventures with his grandkids, and like random shit happens, and like the parents are like married but they kind of hate each other, and like it's darker for sure, and they touch upon things that are, I don't know, again, just like since the whole show is like totally darker, they just hit some deeper places, I guess, than like Family Guy, because like you don't like come out of Family Guy being like, I learned something about life, you know?
Wait, are you serious, man? That one episode, the guy just like kind of
hold his knee.
Yeah, hold his knee. And just did that for like a minute and a half straight. I was like, wow, man, I really feel I know myself better.
I actually thought that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was really funny. I don't know. Anyways, Rick and Morty, great show. It's coming back. I played one of the songs
So
from
what
it.
other
It's
April
trippy.
Fool's things did you guys see?
Oh yeah, what was other stuff?
What happened? April Fool's one?
Wait, was that thing that started? When did that thing on Reddit start yesterday? Where there's like a canvas?
Oh yeah, that was like the Reddit thing. It was like /r/place or
Yeah.
whatever, and like I don't know. I don't know if it was like an April Fool's joke. Really, it's just like a cool thing. It was like a cool idea.
I saw that yesterday. I was like, what the hell? Why, there's like actual like pixel art in this giant canvas, and everyone can fuck with it.
Yeah.
So they're like, there's like a TSM logo, and then people just are like, no, and they just fucking destroyed it. That was pretty funny.
There's a place in it with Smash Bros memes, and I like that one. And then I don't know. It was cool though. I like the idea a lot.
Okay, so I remember the Twitch April Fools. I actually didn't mind it. I thought it was
What
pretty
was the
funny.
Twitch April
Oh,
Fools?
the
The
bits
bit. Okay,
thing.
so do you see that bit thing? The Pentagon. It was just hand drawn with MS Paint, like really
Like,
shitty.
really,
Oh,
really
Like
really?
it's like it's like someone's like little kid got like crayon or used MS Paint to just be like
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I was like, I should just do that. Like I actually thought that was pretty funny. Like
Yeah,
Oh, dude, that would have been funny to actually change all your emotes to like you drew them or some shit.
oh shit.
Next year.
So actually for April Fools, what I was gonna do is after I did PLT, I was gonna come back and stream. But I got really depressed because my April Fool's idea was I was just gonna make fun of Pokey, my roommate. So she does this thing called Dr. Pokey, and I was like, that's what I'm making fun of, because it was either my options were either making fun of ASMR or Dr. Pokey, and I was like, Dr. Pokey it is. So I went and bought like a doctor's like uniform, like the white
yeah.
Overcoat and
overcoat. Yeah,
thingy.
exactly. So I bought all that stuff on Amazon and it didn't ship in time. So I was just like, oh man.
Don't
'Cause-
worry, it'll come later and you'll use it.
Yeah, no, I won't. But what ends up happening is every time, for people who don't know, Dr. Pokey is what Pokey does for just any of her viewers to
Help them with their problem.
help with their problem, not league problems. It's literally just like, and this
There's
is
this girl who just like,
Yeah.
I like, but she doesn't like me back. Like, how do I get her, Pokey?
and Pokey will say this one line, which I think is actually hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
She says, wait,
What is it? Oh, fuck.
welcome to Dr. Pokey. Do you have an issue? Do you need a tissue?
Yeah,
I'm just like,
holy shit.
I just think it's so funny. So
Oh
I was
my
gonna
God.
say that and start dragging people into my Discord channel and being like, say that line. I thought it was gonna be great, but I didn't get the code in time. I was like, no, I'm done. I just can't do this anymore.
Sad days. Oh, I really like the Better Twitch TV April Fool's thing where they changed all the freaking emotes to like the freaking frog. That was pretty funny. Some of them are really cool, like Fish Moly.
Oh, that one got spammed.
I was like, damn, this looks better than the regular ugly ass Fish Moly. But other ones like what was a good one? Like Lol as the frog. I'm like, ugh, he's hideous now. He's disgusting. Stop spamming Lol. Like seriously.
I actually do think that I think Better Twitch TV did a better April Fool's than Twitch TV.
Yeah,
because
I mean, I
the
agree.
bid donations are like I thought it was funny, but it wasn't like super big. You know?
Yeah.
But
No, it feels similar to like what Riot did this year, right? Like the whole advanced bots thing.
Oh, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's like
It was okay. There's better ones
Yeah.
before, but
wait,
it was like
advanced bots?
they made it so like when
Loading
you played a
screen.
normal, the enemy team would look up as they would show up as bots. It'd literally be like any bot, Trinamere
Swing bot,
bot,
whatever,
Swain
yeah.
bot,
Really?
but
I
they're
thought-
actually real people.
I thought that their thing was the Yasuo thing. That was it.
That too.
that too.
Oh, I don't play normal, so legit never.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, that was
I
pretty
missed
much
it
it.
too,
And
so.
then I think there was like one more thing, but It was okay. I like last year's with the Ravens heads. That was.
I honestly thought like last year's April Fools were a lot better. I actually usually get excited for April Fools because there's a lot of bad stuff. Like 90% of the stuff is bad, but 10% of the stuff that's good, you're just like, because they gotta rise above the stuff on April Fools. Because April Fools is like the day where you're like trying to do like silly, stupid stuff. Yeah. So you gotta do like either the silliest and stupidest stuff or like the most interesting one.
Yeah.
So usually
or you do something like Twitch does and it's just like low effort, just like acknowledge that exists and forget about it.
I feel like that's the Twitter ones are the worst though, where people are like, "Fuck, bro, I'm in the hospital. I'm about to fucking die, guys." It's like, April Fool's. Like, that's not funny, bro. We're actually scared.
Those ones are always fucked up. Like, hey, let's get married. Just kidding. Go fuck yourself.
You want to go out? Psych, bitch, you ugly skank. April Fools.
You guys follow some mean ass people.
I don't know.
My feed was very harmonic.
Harmonic.
Yes.
Like
a symphony. They're very nice people. I don't follow people who are just like.
All right.
Proposals.
Speaking of that stuff, this is where I really want to talk about. I don't know if you heard of this stuff yesterday, but the drama between Michael Artest and Gilius, right? Okay, this is what got tweeted out by Mr. Clerky.
Sum it up for us, because for people who don't know.
Basically, what happened was, it started off with Clerky tweeting, Michael Artest, manager for TL, shoved Gilius in the hallway.
Yeah, like game 2 or something.
Yeah, after game 2, and it caused like all this, like Gilius got super tilted off it. Yeah. And yeah, that was pretty much what happened. And so I'm gonna, first things first, I'm the realist. First things first, I'm gonna say every story I heard. I'm not taking this guy's side. I'm not taking this guy's side. I'm just saying the shit I heard. I got comments on Reddit yesterday that was like, "Fucking T.O. pays you to. He's a biased piece of shit. Steve gives him that fat check, dumbass. He's biased as hell." I don't give a shit. I'm gonna give you every single story I got. First story.
All right.
First story.
How many stories are there?
3.
3 stories. Damn. All
First
right. 3
story
sides to this.
is Michael Artest, right? Right after it happened, Michael and D-Lim come after, like after they meet up, and we're like, "Dude, this just happened." Like me and we were walking the hallway, and the hallway's pretty small. You've been LCS. You've been LCS.
Yeah,
it's like
it's like just enough for like 2 shoulder widths.
Yeah,
like, it's like maybe a little bigger than that.
So it's like, apparently they were all walking, and Michael and Gilius they butted shoulders.
Yeah.
And Michael told me after that, Gilius got super mad. He told me Gilius freaked out and was like, "What the fuck, bro? You want to go? Anyone on TL want to fucking fight?" That's what he told me he said. Okay. And I was like, this bitch crazy.
All right, so that's
story one.
All right.
Second story is story I asked Broken Shard.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's fine with me telling his story.
Okay.
And if he's not, whoops. He told me that Michael intentionally bumped into Gilius, and when he bumped into him, he laughed and walked and not ran away, but like obviously like laughed and intentionally like ran away fast enough so.
And in this side of the story, did Gilius still freak out?
Gilius got mad. He was just like, "Who the fuck was that?" And then he was like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah.
So he didn't freak out as hard, but he still kind of like got mad.
He got mad, yeah.
And the third story was someone I won't name because this one for sure, I'm not sure if they want to get involved.
Yeah.
Was someone a part of Riot who said apparently it was just like the daintiest thing. Like they walked in each other's shoulders and it was like, boop. Like that was it. And then Gilius freaked out.
Okay, so the common thread though is that Gilius did freak out. It sounds like
for sure
he got mad.
Got mad.
Yeah. So okay, so we were talking about this last night at dinner, and here's the thing: is like in every competitive sport ever, people try to get under people's nerves, like always, right? Like, and I'm not gonna say that like Michael Artest like did this on purpose, whatever, but it's up to the players to like keep composure regardless, right? Like you hear about like Michael Jordan or like Kevin Garnett and these guys who just like talk mad shit during a game, but like as a professional player, you can't let that shit get to you, right? Like you have to keep it under wraps, like get your head in the game. High School Musical.
I know. The best thing is like I feel like of all people, someone from Europe should be the one that's least offended by stuff like that.
He literally tweeted stuff out last week.
Because it's like he's like the type of guy who gives it, right. He's like, man, look at these washed up players on this other team. Like who cares? And like all the European players, a lot of the European players I play with are the first ones to flame, and the first ones to like also take the flame. And so I feel like he should be the most comfortable if something bad happens, right? But that's just, I guess, not the case.
The big thing is like this thing kind of like branched off from the original thing that happened where Michael Artrez tweeted some shit like after he won, he tweeted, "Can't wait for Loco's next video. Loco Let's Lose."
Yeah.
It's a pun on Loco's old show where it was Loco Let's Lose.
Yes.
And yeah, so I just feel like it was a situation where Clerky like knew this guy was getting hated on. He wanted to keep this thing under wraps. Like this was a day after this happened, so he wanted to actually keep it under wraps. But then Michael got hated on, and he was just like, "Oh, you guys, this shit happened yesterday," which I think is bullshit. That's why I was just like, I'm not gonna stick my neck out for Michael. Bro, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, bro. I'm not gonna stick my neck out for.
And you know,
unless
lost his job within 24 hours.
I'm not gonna stick my neck out for anyone unless they're like my close bros. But I think it's complete bullshit how someone is gonna stem a hate off something else to try to like ruin someone when he doesn't even know exactly what happened.
Yeah. That's true. It's like one thing, you like have your bros back, but you also should like know the full situation. So just be like something happened, man.
I think
like,
a lot of people are also making the statement that like, look, it's disrespectful to say that after an opponent loses. Like it's like kicking a guy when he's down. And to be honest, I agree. I think it's actually disrespectful to say that. I think if it's just disrespectful, that's their prerogative. Like if you want to be a disrespectful person, you can do that.
I don't even think he like went in on them.
Yeah, I don't think he went that hard too.
Let's say he did, and let's say
but he didn't.
No, but let's say he did, and it was disrespectful. It's his prerogative to be disrespectful.
That too.
Right?
There are players who like I mean, Doublelift is known as like that trash talker, right? That's like, I mean, his bio on Twitter is literally everybody else is trash, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like the brand he built himself up as. And if Michael wants to do that, fuck it, dude. Not a lot of people are gonna like you. Some people are gonna think you're funny as hell trash talking. But I just think it's really weird how people were like, Hotshot was like, bro, that was just fucked up, man.
Well,
that was just douchey.
Here's the thing too, though, is that when Gold Coin United played against E United, they like all retweeted Gilius's old like shit talk stuff.
That too.
Like, is that not disrespectful? Like. What's the line here? If you're gonna talk shit, you need to be able to take that shit too.
Yeah, I think it's just like the line is just subjective every time. It's like,
yeah,
I think this is where it is, you know. And then next time it's like, no, dude, this is where it is, you know.
That's bullshit.
I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah, but
it shouldn't be.
Like, I don't know. We've talked about this for a while now, but like, I just think that like, if people want like more interesting storylines and stuff like that, people need to like just
want more interesting storylines, and also the pros do too, but they don't want to be a part of it. So it's like when you see a car accident, right? You can like slow down and you can watch. You take out your camera, start recording it, you know. But you don't want to be the one in the car accident because that's not fun.
But I think for the people who do want to talk shit, though, they should be able to talk shit without like.
I mean,
without people being, oh, you hurt my feelings.
Yeah,
Ow.
I mean, but that's only possible if everyone agrees to that. I think in general, everyone just wants to watch and like eat the popcorn.
No one wants to watch this show.
Well, yeah, with him on it.
No.
Anyways, final statements on this thing. The trash talking thing, we need to find a line where something is acceptable and unacceptable. I think that situation it wasn't, but let's just find a line. And the thing with Michael Artrez versus Gilius, no one has 100% proof, so I'm not going to trust anyone until Riot says something.
I'm okay if we just ban TL from LCS.
Michael Artrez should be executed from LCS and be hanged.
From life.
Yeah. It should be streamed on Riot Games.
Yeah, the beheading, and put it on a pike, and they have it in front of the LCS studios.
No shoving allowed.
Jesus. All right. Well, we went off of the deep end a little bit, but I'm glad to welcome my great co-host, and who was just casting the games that we're about to talk about.
Did you get enough of me yet?
Superstar. I didn't listen to you at all. Superstar caster and analyst Mark Zimmerman. Mark, who else are you?
You did a good enough job, dude. We'll just leave it there.
Okay.
This is Scarra. Do you guys know who Scarra is?
You're on my channel. I'm sure you do.
You know who he is? Let me tell you. This guy, one of the original pro players in the scene, on Team Rock Solid, got picked up by Dignity.
we rejected a dust-off sponsorship to get picked up by Dignitas. I'm just saying, dude, I come from the grassroots. Anyways, we'll go to the post-league time, our post-LCS analysis show, where I guess the post-relegation analysis show. Promotion, sorry. Where we're going to talk about one best of 5 today, the best of 5 that mattered to decide whether Envy or Gold Coin United got into LCS. I almost forgot the name.
It's okay. It's Gold Coin United. I talked about it a little on the broadcast. I was like, I don't really like that name. Because then you say like the gold lead for Gold Coin United and all this stuff.
I just delete the coin. Gold United. I'm okay with that.
I just don't like the word gold because then I'm just like the gold lead for Gold Coin United. It's just like too much gold. It's like naming a team the Barons. You know, the Baron Buff for Baron, the Baron team. And
I just think it's funny. I think it's funny. You as a caster may not. But.
Yeah, I didn't hate it initially, but after casting a best of 5, I'm just like, ugh. Anyways. So I don't have notes because I was casting. In the future, I will have notes for the best of 5s coming up in the playoffs. I still remember the games pretty well, though.
I took like 1,200 words of notes.
You have like an essay?
Yeah. It's because...
I have a dissertation ready on the promotion relegation match.
It's because I literally just like started writing it all down on... Look at that. You see that? I did like a Google Doc about it.
Okay.
Because I was like, let's be serious, man. But, okay, so let's talk about a little bit of our predictions from yesterday. So... Okay, so our predictions from yesterday were that we expected Gold Coin United to win. You said they would win, and I said they would win, but it'd be a closer series than before.
I think we both said that.
Yeah. And so what ended up happening was, what did we think would happen? First of all, I didn't like Gold Coin United's bot lane. I thought that they're the weakest bot lane of the 4 teams there, and that it could be exploited. And you said that maybe they crutch on Varus and Zyra to be able to get them there, to be able to smash their bot lane.
No, that was... it was Gold Coin United using Varus.
Wait, did you not?
Oh no, it was Envy. It was Envy.
Yeah. No, I got you.
Yeah. My bad.
You're the person who said that Envy would use their bot lane strategy again on the rematch, and it might work out. And I said it could work out because their bot lane sucks.
Yeah.
On top of that, Seraph has been playing pretty well this tournament. I think he's had stupid deaths, but that's Envy's solo winners for you. So him with Lyra ended up playing really well, and Envy was able to close out the series.
I think the big difference for this time around was Phoenix did not dump all over Ninja. There was one game where Phoenix had the kind of performance he was been having the entire tournament, and that's not good enough because Lyra is a legitimate world-class, like maybe top 5, top 10 jungler in the world probably. Like this dude's absolutely insane, and Phoenix was supposed to fill a similar role for his team and kind of failed over the course of this series.
Right, and it's not good enough that he goes even. If you go even against what is probably the last place LCS mid laner, the worst LCS mid laner in the league, that's not good enough to get you into LCS, especially if you're the biggest carry threat on your team.
Yeah, so it looked like Phoenix kind of ran out of gas in a sense. Maybe he was like worn out, tired after like the emotional roller coaster that was TL versus Gold Coin United. But either way, ends up in a full best of 5 series. You want to start off with game 1?
Generally, okay, this is what's going to happen for the first 2 games up until Gold Coin changes their draft is whatever happened, the entire series, Gold Coin's bot lane just gets smashed. This is the one game in the entire series where Gold Coin's bot lane actually does pretty well. They push in the enemy laner with Caitlyn Karma, and they do fairly well up until like probably 12 minutes in, where they die 2v2. Aside from that, what ends up happening is...
Santorin has a cheesy level 1. Remember? So they have Graves. They go for a delayed invade on the top side, and they force Lyra.
I was so mad about this game. We should just go over it real quick. So
yeah.
Santorin has cheesy level 1, able to get a kill on mid lane. After a late invade onto the red side, what ends up happening is Lyra then tries to bring it back, gets a reverse kill there, goes top, goes bot, but unfortunately, Gold Coin United still comes out with like an early lead.
There's a big 3v3, a 3-for-0 skirmish in Gold Coin United's favor around the top lane.
Yes, and at that point, I thought the game was like in a real struggle. You know, they take 3-for-0 and get both towers, and then what ends up happening is Envy just tries to 1-3-1 the whole game.
Yep.
And then
it actually works. Well, so off the back of that 3-for-0, Gold Coin United gets a 3,000 gold lead, and then they just don't do anything. And Envy 1-3-1s and like makes a couple pick plays, and they bring the gold lead back all the way from down 3k to up 3k, basically just off that.
The worst part is that their 3-man isn't able to hold the other 3-man. So because of that, Goldcoin's 3-man was able to get like essentially Baron priority because they were just stronger as 3. Usually.
Right, and I mean, I think part of that comes down to Lyra's Nidalee pick. It did not look impressive at all this tournament. He used AP Nidalee this tournament instead of what we saw in the regular season when he was using 80 Nidalee. And I don't know if that would have been a big enough deal to change how this game played out, but it definitely made the 3-man core weaker compared to like a Graves 25 minutes in.
I don't think so, but whatever ends up happening is Goldcoin United just wins. In
The dumbest way.
The dumbest way, one of the stupidest ways possible. Goldcoin United runs it down mid and wins the game.
It's literally like what the other team's 1-3-1ing, and then they back off to Baron, and they're like, I bet they're not on Baron, and Lyra goes and solos Dragon, and they trade Cloud Drake for Baron, and they just didn't react at all to it. And then after they get that, then they just run down mid, and it's like, well, we have Baron now, we'll just win the game. And it was just both games that Goldcoin United won, and this was like kind of the blueprint apparently, was like we need to get a big enough early game lead so that the early mid game where Team Envy brings it back, they bring it back to even or a close gold lead, and then we win in the late game. Because if they get a big gold lead early, we're fucked.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened in Game 2.
Yep.
So Game 2, Envy has 2 winning solo lanes, and the bot lane, this is almost embarrassing. Their bot lane runs out of pots at like 5 minutes in against 3 pots from the other AD. So their bot lane gets smashed, Dissolution, and both the mid lane and the top lane loses. This turns into a disgusting double counter gank on top lane by Lyra, twice, and both times secured either 1 or 2 kills and the first tower. It eventually started, I think it was 5 for 1 or 6 for 1.
It was brutal.
It snowballed into one of the a horrific landslide. Even with this in mind, though, Envy's problems are pretty obvious in that they still don't know how to close. There's periods in every single game where probably anywhere between 4 to 8 minutes, they don't know how to accelerate the game into being able to find a way to close the game. But they're still able to close this game out around the 29-minute mark, which is pretty good. Actually, no real problems.
And I believe this is in these 2 games as well. There was a lot of play around Camille. So Game 1 was a Camille versus a Rumble. Game 2, I believe this time Envy had Renekton into the Camille or something like that. So Scarra has a good Renekton for the most part, and if he's up against tanks where he's going to get outscaled, that's a little bit of a problem. But against a Camille, you can kind of bash it and just hold it down, and that's what happened a little bit. Or I think he was the Camille versus the Renekton.
Right? He was the Renekton versus the Camille.
Yeah, he was the Renekton versus
On
Camille.
top of that, Lyra turned 2 ganks top lane, and the game's over because you're just not able to give the Envy that big of a lead that early and expect to come back.
Right, and this is the beginning of like the problem with the bot lane, because like Mash tried Lucian and just looked awful at it. He got destroyed.
A lot of times it didn't look as the numbers didn't look that bad. Like he was within 10 CS, but the pressure wise, he was getting slammed so hard by the enemy team.
Yeah, and that was a big point because we were talking about how for Envy, their bot lane is actually even in the end of the regular season decent enough where if they got good matchups, they could like push in and generate pressure, and then Lyra plays around that pressure like super well. And that's the problem for GCU was like Phoenix was not smashing Ninja. The top lane was mostly actually even. I think Solo did pretty well versus Scarra for the most part, and then their bot lane was just almost always losing. And obviously Lyra is better than Santorin. Shocker.
Well, I just have a question. How do you want to do this? Do you want to go game by game, the summary and then the execution, or do you want to go the whole thing? Summarize all 4 and then go back? Because we usually do that way.
No, we should go game by game in depth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So then.
We said it was a 5-game series.
Right.
NV1
I thought we were gonna do like, oh, that's the way you thought. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, I was like, we're skipping over like all the top lane picks. We're not talking about. I was like, God damn.
Yeah,
you're going real light
we
here.
are skipping over a lot.
Yeah, I was like,
I thought we were gonna go back to it.
No, I mean, if you want to hit high level, we should do that before. We're still working out the kinks for our best of 5 PLT series.
Yeah,
guys. You're in for a little bit of a ride.
No, it was definitely something where I'm just like, oh, we're gonna cover. Usually, what ends up happening in our shows is that we cover it very sparingly and we go back to it, right?
Yeah.
But then this time it was like we covered it like it was a 4-1. The whole series, I thought we were going game by game and then going back. Anyways,
do you have anything else you want to say game 1 before we continue? Because that's why I was talking about like the 1-3-1 and like not checking Baron and all that stuff. Did you have anything else you want to say about that?
I just thought for general, Envy's A lot of the biggest problems about these teams is that their vision control is really bad. And so even when they successfully bait Baron, there'll be times where it's just terrible. Or in the first game, a good example is Lyra like goes bot side. They clear out all the vision. They have like 2 pinks in the area, 6 or 7 wards in the area. They start Dragon and when their mid lane backs, and then they concede it because Graves just walks in and finds out that Lyra is there, and then they lose the first Dragon.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of situations where you're just like, well, I guess their vision was good, but they just like kind of sucked, or like the way they control vision isn't very good. And that's kind of the story for the entire series for both teams.
For both teams, because whenever GCU forced around Baron, if Envy actually contested it, their decision making was pretty bad. But a lot of the times, Envy just like didn't contest the Barons and just gave them away. And that happened this game. That's how they got their first Baron, was just like, Envy understands that GCU's team comp does not take Baron that well. So they're like, we don't need to rush in there and risk getting face checked. But then they don't go at all.
Yeah, I think this was more of a unique game because, in my opinion, it's just that when they wanted to do the 1-3-1, Lyra is like off on his own a lot of times because he wants to be very efficient with his farming.
Yeah.
And so it's like a 2v3 mid lane, and Lyra is like off farming Wolf Camp. And so because of that, the 3 from GCU always pushes out the enemy team to go the Baron, gets full vision control, and then starts it. And they don't want to get baited in, right? And so they
weren't even starting it at the first point. Like, literally, they back off into Baron and sit in a brush, and Envy just doesn't respect it at all, and Lyra's doing his blue. And it's like, no, this is smart. Like, you don't need to, like, run in there that quickly. But they don't advance at all. And Lyra, after finishing his blue, instead of grouping up and, like, throwing spears and brushes to check for Baron, like, laying traps, he just does Dragon. Like, he doesn't even respect it at all. And that's when GCU's like, fine, we'll start the Baron.
Yeah.
And they don't respect anything about it.
Yeah, but in general, that's what I thought. I thought that it's really hard for Envy in general to play around their Camille because Camille eventually just wins you the game through split push. But in both this game and in the last game, I think it was the last or the fourth game. Oh, it was the fourth game.
They stopped getting Camille after game 3, I thought.
No, they got Camille for the fourth game because they got it into Jinx. And
Yeah.
And in both games where Camille's like able to split push and win you the game, they're not patient enough with the split push. Like this isn't even a game where you need to 1-3-1 really. Like because Camille's at the point where I feel like it's better than 1-3-1, but if it's too hard to execute,
just bring Talon.
Exactly.
Bring Talon down, wave clear, and like they didn't play like Seraph was playing the 1-3-1 part fine. It was the 3-man group who was not playing it correctly.
And this was so frustrating because this also ended up being like they got 2 inhibs for free when they tried to trade.
Yeah, that was just like Envy just stopped trying to do anything.
Or they tried to do something, it was super desperate. And then the worst thing for me was they're defending the last inhib and they push out. Lyra gets like Zanya's in a bad position, and you have to fight there. So you just go past the Zanya's to try to make it so that he can survive. The Zanya's to like get something done, but they just let Lyra die, and they let the inhib die, and then they lose the game. And I'm just like, at what point did Envy try for this game? I don't understand.
Right, they never forced when they needed to force. So it's like, all right, so you didn't try and stop the Baron, you didn't try and stop the double inhib take, you tried to trade, you just kept trying to trade objectives, and now the game's over. That's pretty bad.
That was terrible. But I think that going to the second game, I expected Goldcoin to ban Varus or Zyra.
Or react to it somehow.
Yeah, I think the first game was close enough because they won lane that they didn't think it was a problem. Because they did win lane up until a point.
Right, and the problem that happened in the game 2 draft was that they didn't take an 80 carry early on, and Envy bans out, the good carries into Varus, Zyra.
Yeah,
and then
they
have to
out
play
K Ezreal.
K Ezreal. So then you basically are stuck like with Jhin, which isn't great because you're just gonna get ulted over and over at 6, or you end up with Lucian. And I mean, maybe if you're a god tier Lucian, you can win this lane. I think it could be possible, but not mashed Mad Life gonna win that lane.
Yeah, I think generally that their bot lane is one of the weakest parts about their team.
For sure.
Yeah, this is like the game that doesn't really need a TLDR because for me, I remember this game as just Lyra turning 2 ganks top lane and the game's over.
This was the first time Phoenix played Ahri into Syndra, right?
Yep. And Phoenix killed himself.
Yeah, Phoenix,
I
think he took good openings, but he just always missed the charms. He didn't land like a single charm on any of his all-ins and couldn't kill him.
Yeah, this is a situation where like, oh, Phoenix is okay, but then doesn't convert. And none of the games where Phoenix plays Ahri does he ever take Ignite. So I feel like if you're the better mid laner, maybe I think you should probably clutch on the Ignite to just win the lane.
I think it would have been better for sure because there were a couple times where it was like, oh, that guy would be dead if you had the Ignite.
Yeah.
And Phoenix needs to kind of be playing that greedy style.
Because he's the only relevant carry on the team. When your AD is always going to be behind, the mid, the jungle, and the top lane need to be overperforming to compensate.
Yep, and Ninja had a good bounce back series. This was kind of the start of it. Like, to be fair, a lot of this was on Phoenix missing the charms than like Ninja outplaying him.
Yeah, he missed a charm, and then Ninja would be able to clean up the 1v1 because he missed so much stuff initially.
Yep. And then top lane, this time Seraph's Camille was decent, right? Or was this when GCU took the Camille away?
I think this is where GCU took the Camille and Envy took the Renekton.
Yeah,
remember?
yeah,
and
yeah.
then
Yeah, and
they
then-
couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
It was literally just game over.
Yeah, because he was on Kha'Zix, right? Lyra, and he just like got some counter ganks off and
Yep.
shit on him.
For me though, this was a good game of like a better team would have ended it before. And
Oh,
then
for
I
sure.
say this like it's crazy because this is a sub 30-minute game. I'm pretty sure for Envy, but at some point you have all three lanes winning. Your AD solo kills the Lucian as the Varus bot lane at 16 minutes, and you're not able to get Baron until 25. And the way you get Baron is because Mashme tries to hide in top lane Tribush and flank, surprise someone, and then he kills himself and his team kills themselves.
Yeah,
And
like,
you get it.
Phoenix tried to save Mash and like tried to ult around, and then Phoenix just died, and it was like, all right, well, we'll go Baron. And the thing about why I think it's hard for Envy is because every time I see Apollo on Varus, he's just split pushing in side lanes. That's not what Varus does. You group him around mid and you harass under turret, force people low with his like Q poke, and then you make plays around that health advantage that he's getting. And like he's always in side lanes just pushing.
Yeah, I think that's a real big problem because that's one of the biggest problems with them blowing up in the mid game at least is because they never do a bot to mid lane rotation. If you notice, they always do bot to top.
And even then, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just go back bottom.
Yeah, and it's really strange now that you point out to me because I did notice it as well. I'm just like, why is he top lane here? They at no point, even if the mid lane is something like Syndra or something which is pokeable, which is usually almost every mid lane in the game that's not like Cassio and maybe Ori, maybe like something else. You could just poke him down with their superior Q range from Varus, but they never even attempted it this entire series.
Right, they just put a Paul on the sideline, they're like wave clear. And like Hakuho and Leo run around, Ninja and Seraph and make stuff happen. And then like you said, there's this random ass 80 carry 1v1 in the bot lane.
Yes.
And it's like, when do you ever see that?
You're lucky that like Apollo came out on top because there's like a good chance that like
if
Apollo dies.
Mash got vision in the brush faster, he was slow on his trinket, he couldn't get the double tap off, and then Apollo Q's him.
He might have life stolen enough to be able to live one more shot, and then maybe he gets it. I don't know, but it's still to the point where like you don't want to risk like the game on stuff like that.
Yeah, they should be more like 4-1 with Syndra Varus shooting skill shots at the team who's pushed in under their turret and just sieging with that.
Yeah, and I thought that this game was over at that point. Like as soon as the top lane AD, the AD does the weird flank. Phoenix dies, he dies. They get Baron. They just push, get 2 inhibs. The game ended. They had a 21k gold lead. I think
it was disgusting. Like they had a 10k gold lead at like 20 minutes or 25 minutes.
And even then, with Envy games, you're still like, it's possible they can throw this. And I think that sucks. For me, against this caliber of opponent in the relegation series, for the most part, I know they can't throw, but I just think how long does it take for them to get Baron?
And I said it a couple times on the desk. It's like a threshold where like if they're not probably 5k ahead at 25 minutes, I don't think they win the game.
Against this caliber, they could probably do it.
5k might be a little generous versus them. Against LCS teams, 5k is like you're on the border of still losing this game.
Yeah, no, and it's because the way they close out the game, and I think one moment in particular as we move on is, I'll point it out, I was just actually so upset about it. Because the way they did it, it's like in the next game or two. The way they did it, I was like, there's no way they should have won this. But
Game 2 was just it was mostly a massive snowball.
Yeah, it definitely was. Game 3 was the Varus Lee Ori game.
Yeah, it was where they tried to run the Caitlyn Karma again into it. But
I thought was really smart. I think the drafting idea was really good. They know their bot lane's weak. They go back to the strongest bot lane in the game, essentially.
Yep.
And laning wise at least, and they put them down to make sure that they can't lose bot lane. And they lose bot lane. Like hard.
And it's off the back of Lyra. So what happens level 1, Santorin's playing his 3rd game of Graves. He goes for the same invade that this is like kind of sad. They go for the same invade that they went for in game 1. This time Lyra's starting on the top side and they drop a ward to scout for it, but they fuck the ward up. So they don't even see the fact that Goldcoin United is going for the same level 1, and the only reason they figure out that the enemy is in their jungle is because they ward over into the red pit In NVC's, GCU just warded Red Pit, so then when Santorin tries to start the Raptors, they wrap around behind him and he fail flashes and they kill Santorin. It was just such like a mangled level 1 from both teams.
I was really surprised because I caught it a little bit slow, but I was like, if you knew they're invading this way, this should be really clean. Like, you just get like a flash and like they lose a lot of health early, they have to back. But it turns out to be something where like they could have even been salvaged by Santorin if he had hit the flash. But it wasn't.
Yeah, it was just like Envy fucked up the first ward. The second ward out of GCU was questionable. The fail flash, like all of it was like, eh. But it did get an advantage. Lyra gets his like Moby boot super early on, and then takes over the game for the most part.
I was a little bit worried because I was like, oh, if he's not able to do something by like levels like 5 or 6-ish, then the Moby boots don't pay off. Because if you look at the CS, mainly for this game, Santorin was the only one that was really far ahead. He was up like 40 CS and maybe like a level on Lyra, but Lyra was the one who was putting more pressure on the map.
Well, and what was super important was the way Lyra put pressure on the map. It wasn't like I just ran up there and tried to gank someone and burned a flash. It was like he went bot lane against this bot lane that you know beats yours because it happened in game 1, and he goes down there level 3, level 4, and forces out almost all the summoners out of the enemy team's bot lane so they can't play aggressive the way they wanted to.
I was okay with that, but when my problem with Lyra this game is like he almost threw his bot lane lead because he went back bot, didn't get anything with him with Moby boots, evaded the red. They knew he was invading. He like ran through vision to go to the red. He like flubs the red invade, but it turns out neutral, and he goes back for like the Krugs and then kills himself because Varus just walks over, ultis him, and
You're thinking of game 5, dude.
Is that game 5?
That's game 5. How would Varus ulti him if they're running Kate Karma? You
Oh,
dingus.
what did I even think of here?
I mean, he played Lee both games, so I understand what you're thinking of. Lyra had a monster game 3. He literally saved that team from losing. Their bot lane would have lost that matchup again, and he goes and wins them that matchup, and then Rumble versus Renekton, because Seraph counterpicks the Rumble, and is losing the matchup. Seraph loses the matchup so hard, he's at teleport disadvantage 6 minutes into the game with the other team having a Rumble as the Renekton. And he goes up there, and he kills the Rumble, forces his TP back into lane, so GCU can't use a map play. So basically, he wins the bot lane, so they're not getting smashed, and then he goes and negates the teleport advantage while getting his team a kill on the top side. And he's like, fuck everyone, I'm taking over this game. And it's the Moby boots, and I agree, he didn't like have, like, oh my god, he's got 10 kills and he's running around everywhere. But he gets that, and then eventually he makes his way back down bot lane, and they get another kill. It was a good performance out of Lyra. It may not have been the most impressive Moby boot rush. It wasn't like Dardoch's Elise Moby boot rush, but he negated every advantage that GCU made on their own.
Right. This is definitely not the game I had criticized of Lyra. I think
Yeah, that was game 5, yeah.
where he actually, I think, wasted a lot of time and didn't do very well. This
Yeah.
is a game where Andy was ready to blow open the game. Like you said, snowball top bot. And I think maybe mid lane they traded 1 for 1.
Yeah,
and
he
Phoenix is like slightly ahead, I think.
Right. It was the kind of thing where, so after that invade by Santorin, he actually farmed back into the game, and Lyra did have a weird thing where after he got that early kill, instead of trying to like push the advantage more and more, he did a full clear, picked up his Moby boots, and then like ran top and just sat top and did nothing. And I think that's maybe what you were thinking of, was that it looked like it was going to be a really inefficient Moby buy, but then he makes the bot play, and then he goes back top and makes the top play.
I think if you buy early Mobies, you have about till level 5 or 6 to make him pay off.
And he barely got it off in time.
Yeah. This is a game where I was also kind of really annoyed by Andy, or not annoyed, but I know that it drags out, right?
Yeah.
So they had a huge lead, and then going from 11 minutes to 7, I actually timed this because I'm just like, nothing happens here.
Yeah.
Andy gets the bot lane tower after a long ass time. They swapped their bot lane top lane, and then Lyra invades red side, gets solo killed by the enemy Syndra, and the game just stalls out. Eventually, 6 minutes later, their bot lane gets to the top lane tier 1, and then finally they go off to do something. And I just thought that was really weird because I understand, like, aside from the Lyra death, which I understand why stuff slows down, it shouldn't slow down for 6 minutes at a time.
No, especially not when, like, okay, the other team might have had some small advantages, but Lyra totally neutralized them, and then they just didn't do anything with it. And what was the mid lane matchup again? That's the only thing I can't remember from this game.
It was Syndra versus Ori.
Oh, this was one of the games Phoenix played okay.
Yeah, he played okay. Like, when we say okay, it means like he's above his other mid laner, but not by enough to where it like super matters.
Yeah, he was trying to force plays. He had a 1-for-1 trade, like you mentioned, where like he flashed in to finish off Ninja, but Ninja got his ult off in time as the Orianna to pull him under turret. and then they traded 1 for 1. And Phoenix, like, he didn't hit that Syndra break point where, like, Syndra gets, like, 2 kills unanswered, and suddenly she's, like, up a blasting wall, she just fucks your ass. Like, he didn't quite get to, like, that point.
Yeah. But this is the game where I noticed, like, multiple stall periods. Like, the next big one is, like, when they're looking to bait Baron, they finally set it up perfectly. It's 25 minutes, okay. They set up Scarra for the red buff. So he's renekton, split pushing red buff. This guy's a monster. You can't slow him down without at least 2 people. And then they go to the Baron, and I think Lyra backs a couple people back, and they're starting to bait Baron. Okay, if you're doing Baron, what's the bare minimum you need? You need wards. Like, you need to be able to control it. Yeah. There are 1 pink ward on the map. I think they had 1 or 2, but their 1 pink ward on the map was in the bush at the very top river of top lane. That was it.
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is, like, they wait there for a little bit, and then they're baiting, and they're just like, we're just gonna go into the enemy jungle to, like, get deeper wards. And because Mad Life had just backed and is running back there to place his shallow wards to contest, they catch Mad Life, like, right as he cuts into, like, the shallow area on top side, and that's how they get the pick.
It was the most random pick, and then, like, what ends up happening is, after they get that pick, it's only the support, and, like, GCU has, like, a lot of damage. They have, like, Rumble, Syndra, and Caitlyn, like.
They just got super desperate.
And they got Graves. Like, you can maybe walk in and contest it, and then they don't walk in and contest, and they just let Envy have it for free.
Yeah.
Because the karma's dead.
Yeah, I don't know.
I understand it's hard, but you can't give up a Baron. You can't just give it up. They did. And, like, both teams did this. They did it 3 out of the 5 games, so they're just like, they can have the Baron. And then once that team gets the Baron, this team that has awful late game, it becomes 10 times easier to decide how to end the game once you have a Baron buff.
I actually hate it because they got the Baron buff, and the next 6 minutes, they're not able to break the base.
Well, so if I remember this game correctly, I can understand your first Baron when there were still a lot of inner turrets up, not breaking the inhibitor line of turrets. You just need to... They had a huge lead. They were up like 10k at this point. Yeah. And with that, you should be able to crack the inhibitor.
With a 10k lead, I feel like you should be able to crack, like, the Nexus. Like, with Baron buff, if TSM has a 5k gold lead or 4k gold lead with Baron buff, this game is over.
Yeah, but it's not TSM.
That's true.
So I think your first Baron buff that you get in a game, if you don't already have everything to the inhibitors down, I can see where you don't break an inhibitor and you just expand your gold lead. And this was like a decent power play for them, the Baron power play. I think there was like a 4 or 5k one where they took the last 2 inner turrets and then they set up for another Baron.
Yeah, they set up for another Baron. They start Elder. The other team starts Baron. They finish Elder. They run the Baron and they ace them 5 for 0.
Yeah.
And then that's game.
Yeah.
Game's over, and at this point I was like, okay, so they're just gonna win the next game. It's over. There's nothing that's gonna happen. There's no way GCU
wins another game, right?
Yes, exactly.
But then they do.
And I think this is the first time where GCU adapted to the draft.
Yeah.
So they finally banned out Varus. Varus Zyra has been causing them a bunch of problems the entire draft.
They take the Zyra early.
Yeah, and so I think they try to do, like, almost too much with the draft. Like, they
overreacted to the ball.
Yeah, I was okay with just, like, the Varus ban, but not only that, they took, like, the Zyra, which I was like, is that great? Like,
I think they were scared of the other team running Kate Zyra.
Yeah.
So I understood why they kind of wanted to do it, but then they never took an 80 carry in their first rotation.
And instead they had to deal with Kate Karma, which is the lane that, like...
It's still good.
It's way too good. You just get smashed on it, and they got pinched so hard in the 80 position, their 80 had to pick Jinx. And
their comp was the worst Jinx comp in history.
Okay. So when you pick Jinx, Jinx is like Kog'Maw. Since she's she's semi-long range, a mobile champion. What do you do with those types of ADs? You pick shielding champions.
No, you pick all dive, and you let them fend for themselves against the Camille Scarra.
Yeah.
Didn't you see they won the game?
Yeah. God. Like, it was so brutal because even though GCU came out with a great early game, the only reason it was, like, bad was because their bot lane was down 50 CS or 40 CS at some point.
Right, so Phoenix finally has, like, his pop-off game that we've been waiting for. He plays Ahri again into Syndra, right? And this time he actually lands those charms that we said he was missing that time. So he's able to, like, get some kills on his own. Santorin's having a better game this time around. And then Solo is going crazy on Renekton.
The thing, I give him some credit, but I also give his opponents a lot of doubts because Lyra legit killed himself twice this game. He's Kazakh.
This was his only bad game so far.
This was his awful game. This was the game I was watching with these two on the couch, and literally as he's about to jump in, it's just like there's no way he's gonna jump in on this. He jumps in, kills himself, and then later in the game,
Hey, Zhanik, thanks for the sub, man. Do we do that during the
No.
BTLT? Oh, my bad.
later in the game, he jumps in and dies again, and you're just like, wait, he sucks at Kazakh. What happened? And so
He had such a good game too on it.
yeah, and so game 4 was the game where I thought Lyra just played really bad, and for Envy to win when Lyra played bad, their bot lane was still almost able to carry.
Yeah, and so Lyra fucks up a fight in the top side, solo on Renekton against the Camille this time around, turns a 2v1. He's able to get a kill on Lyra. This is as Phoenix is killing mid, and their bot lane's getting crapped on. But because their top side starts winning so hard, their bot lane like starts coming back into the game because it's like, yes, there's pressure elsewhere on the map. We can actually farm now.
Yeah, and what happens is Santorin on whatchamacallit, Rengar
Yep.
is able to invade deep into the bot side jungle, catch Hakuo as he's coming back to lane, kill Hakuo, and set up bot lane to be like, okay, they break the tower, and this is where GCU like way overextends. They're overextending to tier 2 to dive, and they get 1 or 2 kills.
It was like 3 actually. It was a 3 for 1 because it was Santorin, Mash, and
but it gets
Phoenix.
reversed by Envy for them to get 3 kills.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Envy gets 3 kills.
Oh, okay,
Santorin
so-
goes really deep,
You're right,
kills
right.
Hakuho, and then he gets killed. And rather than just leaving him there as they finish down the turret, everyone kind of just like walks a little too far forward.
And this was really tragic because when you're playing the Renekton versus Camille matchup, Camille takes a long time to recover if she falls behind. And she was super far behind. But Camille picked up, I think, 2 of the 3 kills bot lane. And she was at a scoreline where you're watching, you're just like, she's 4-1 and 2. Wait, she got smashed this game. How is
She didn't come back that quickly because even after that play, Solo wasn't a part of it, and he was still 3-0 at like 15 minutes into the game. And I was like, well, he's crushing it. He even gets the Rift Herald at some point. Like, he should be popping off. And then over the next 10 minutes, Goldcorn United doesn't make a single play, and Envy evens up the kill count, starts taking turrets, completely evens up the game, and out of nowhere, Solo's 3-3 on Renekton when he was 3-0. And it's GCU's horrible vision control. They just like never set up around the Renekton, so he starts getting picked off in side lanes, and that's eventually how he got to like 4-1.
Not only is it his terrible vision control, I just thought Solo played really over aggressive. Like it's about playing patient. When you have the lead and you're split pushing, you wait for your team to be on the map. So if they do collapse on you, you get stuff done.
But the problem was with the Jinx pick, it never was scary.
Oh no!
They
I
never
know.
had to react to Jinx.
I know. So they needed to wait till Jinx got to legit 3 items before Renekton could like pressure harder, and that sucks because Renekton didn't draws the line of like stalling out the game by pressuring, by trying to drag people to his
I
lane.
still think you can play around the Renekton a little bit more though. Like there were times where like Phoenix would dip into the top side, drop like 1 pink ward, and they'd be like, "There you go, we set up our split push Renekton." And it's like, where is your Rengar? Where is your Zyra? Go get your vision for your Renekton for him to split push, and then go dip somewhere else, and then let him pressure. And they just never set up proper vision for him. So like Hakuho would get angles on him, Lyra would get angles on him, and then yeah, he's obviously playing too aggressive because he doesn't have vision. But like if they had vision, I think the way he was playing was good.
It's just really tragic because I see this and I'm just like, if you're ever playing this comp, your AD carry is even enough to where their pressure is so easy to work off of.
Yeah.
But this is a situation where like the Jinx has Bork and like a Zeal.
She was down like 50 CS,
CS.
works her way back up to 20 CS, and then falls back down to like 40 or 50 CS again. It was just so brutal. And eventually, GCU loses the gold lead completely, and Envy ties it up. Because Envy, even like after early game, like 15 to 25 minutes out of Envy is still pretty good. Like they actually come back on almost every game that they're down.
And then they do that weird Baron at the 28-minute mark where I think both teams lost.
Yeah, it was ugly.
I think the way that the game plays out after the 25-minute mark and through the rest of the game is that Envy doesn't have a classic initiator. So what ends up happening is that Seraph like front lines but doesn't fully commit on the initiation, and he gets hit with a random charm, or Hakuo will get hit with a random charm. And because it's a standoff where the other team has like the power to CC and Envy's never like jumping the gun to immediately initiate, they just get picked, or they take too much chunk.
Yeah, Phoenix actually played the mid-late game situations pretty well with
Oh,
Ari.
yeah.
He found a lot of good angles to like both teams would be postured around mid lane, and he would just charm Seraph and then chunk them to
Yeah,
half.
he got like 2 good looks around Baron, one game-winning play on Hakuo.
Elder, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that he played that fairly well. And Seraph played the late game really bad. In a situation where it's like, this is his dream late game, I think. Because he recovered from a really bad start, and he's against a no support AD carries. So I think that unless Ari starts the fight with Charm, they always win the team fights, or it's like very easy for him to get cut to the back line. Maybe not always win.
Yeah, but the problem was every fight started basically with Phoenix charming someone to either kill them or chunk them low enough that it was like basically impossible to win the fight.
Yeah, and then GCU eventually just gets the Baron, and the only reason this is like one of the reasons why it was possible is because they had double Mountain Drake.
Yeah.
And so that was like the kind of their win condition was like, let's just take the Baron fast enough with double Mountain to where the other team can't respond.
Right. Well, that's what's so sad. That's what I was saying is like the one time Envy like walks up to contest the Baron, GCU make like an awful call where like they don't turn off it at all. They get super low. Santorin almost dies. The Baron's at like 2,000 health, and then like neither team gets it low enough to get in smite range, so they both back away. And it's like, God, GCU can't play around Baron. All Envy needs to do is like have enough pressure around it that they can't force it, and then they just back off completely, and GCU gets a free Baron. You're just like, no.
Yeah. On top of that, like right after that, they do the Elder Baron fight, which I actually thought like Envy was gonna win, and then Hakuo got charmed, and then Seraph wasn't actually able to kill the AD fast enough. They were able to sweep up the fight with Phoenix, absorbing the ninja ulti with Zanya's. Super well played by him in that specific situation.
Yeah, he was like over the wall and picks Hakuho right away. And then, yeah, he just stays over the wall and then eventually comes over once his team has Elder Dragon. And he just, like, gets everyone really low. And then you have Rengar, Renekton just, like, cleaning up.
Yep. And I think at that point, it's almost unwinnable for Envy. They just sweep down the game and then the game's over.
Right. They take the Elder Dragon. They go back up to Baron. They grab the Baron. There's another fight there. Mash dies again. Mash just died in, like, every team fight. Syndra just, like, ulted him and he would die.
And the funniest thing was when it switched to the analyst desk and they talked about what Jinx's job was in the fight. And they were just like, well, Jinx is kind of like a Gangplank ulti, and I was just like, wait, that's right.
she's like a little rabbit that like you let loose and hope she lives long enough that like Seraph can't turn back.
Exactly, like she's the bait.
She gets locked into this pen versus a Camille, and it's like try and live long enough for us to kill their backline first.
And the worst part about it is that Phoenix, this is the one game where Phoenix is just like, yep, I'm gonna win this game.
Yep.
And he was able to find the looks in all the neutral team fight positions to be able to start the fight off for his team.
Yeah, that was basically, it was just like Phoenix would always generate some kind of advantage that like the Renekton, Rengar, Zyra can like drop their damage, kill the back line, and then like, all right, turn back onto the Camille now, or whoever was killing Mash.
God, the fact that Jinx won a competitive game in this series. Okay, so I was talking to Yuna actually. What AD would you prefer in this situation? So let's say you get pinched in that spot.
Yep.
Lucian is available. Jinx is available. Jhin, Ashe.
No, Ashe was banned.
Yeah, Jhin was banned as well.
Was Jhin banned?
I think so, yes. So legitimately, almost all your options are gone against Caitlyn. What was it? Caitlyn? Was it Caitlyn? Karma. So I actually don't think Jinx is that bad. But I think because they early picked a Zyra instead of like a Lulu, there's just nothing you can do with it. Or a Karma.
I don't know. I mean, the other like semi-meta picks are like you see some Twitches, you see some
Lucian,
Sivers,
Twitch.
Lucian.
Would you enjoy Twitch versus Caitlyn Karma? That sounds like you're not gonna even like lane. I actually think Jinx is okay in that position. Just the entire comp made no sense around her.
Right, like if you got super pinched and you had Ori Lulu as your comp, like
Kalista gets slammed. Ezreal was banned. I actually thought Kog'Maw was an interesting one, but
it's like I don't know. I think either way, like they just fucked up their draft by not matching AD carries in the first round.
Fair enough. They had higher priority on the Zyra, but
I'm fine with the priority on the Zyra, but they took Graves and then what was the other thing? They took Renekton because they didn't want the Renekton counter to get banned out against the Camille. So they wanted to grab that counter and they prioritized having that counter than having a real AD carry.
Yeah, and I think that there's no way you can't pick Sivir into that. If you pick Sivir into that, you're asking to get slammed. Like that's a 10-minute tower for free. At least Jinx can like farm from range, like under tower. That's not possible.
You need something with like better than regular base AD range.
Yeah, I think essentially Cog might have been the best pick there, but whatever happens, none of the stuff synergized super well with Zyra or the rest of the team.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying like maybe they overreacted with the Zyra pick because they snipe out the Zyra. It's super important, but like maybe the better option was just to ban the Zyra, leave him on Varus, and just take the Karma first pick.
I don't know because either way, you end up in like with how they did it, you end up in a situation where you don't take the Zyra, they take the Zyra with the Kate. And now if you don't grab the Karma and your AD, they're just gonna ban out your bot lane and smash your bot lane. Like I thought their bot lane, if they didn't match AD there and kind of sacrifice the Renekton counter pick, they're just saying fuck our bot lane.
Yeah, and I guess that's what happened. All right, I was just curious. Just wanted your opinion on it. Now we go into the last game of this series, Game 5.
Game 5. So all series long for the most part, even in that game where we said Lyra fucked up early, he still made some plays later. This was the first time where like Envy as a team was like, Lyra, we're gonna lift you up. Lyra's gonna fuck up in the early game, and the entire team is gonna be like, we got you.
I was most impressed with Lyra's opening jungle route.
Oh, that was actually really good.
This is okay. So the very standard jungle route right now is you start Wraith Camp, and what you do after Wraith Camp, you have a lot of options. You full clear red side, starting Wraith Camp to get level 3, and you can go to back and go blue, or you can go the bot side and go to the enemy blue side, or you can go 2 camps.
Yeah, Raptors red,
and then go to your blue.
Yep.
So those are the 3 options. So what Lyra does, and this is so smart.
I love this too. Yeah.
Did he start red? He went
No. He went Raptors, blue, Gromp, Wolves, red, and then I think he skipped Krugs and went top side.
And so Santorin did bot side. He cleared the entire bot side red and went to the enemy blue, which is like, wait, what did he do?
Yeah.
Like, he was really surprised, and what ended up happening was Lyra's route wasted Santorin's time level 1. So I was just like, wow, really smart.
Santorin was hoping for something where like Lyra does, like you said, the 3 camp start on the red side, and he bumps into him in his blue. So Santorin runs in, throws a ward down. He's like, wait, blue and Gromp are gone, but I saw his top lane leash for him at Raptors. Where the fuck is he?
Yeah, and even if he had taken blue, he would still probably do the other camps on that side, which Santorin could contest because Lee's probably like not
right,
gonna be a good
like
spot.
Lee, if he does Raptors red, blue, then he's probably gonna meet him at Gromp. But because he goes Raptors, blue, Gromp, Wolves, she's just like nowhere around. It was super smart.
Yeah, so that was really, really good by him. But this is the game where I'm just like, oh, Lyra went Mobies. Great. And this Lyra went bot lane multiple times this game.
He kept trying to force around his bot lane because it was winning once again.
Yeah.
It was what was it? It wasn't Zyra Varus. It was something else.
They went Zyra Caitlyn, which
Zyra
is like,
Caitlyn.
okay.
Yeah, so that was the bot lane I said that they would take if you gave them the Zyra.
Yeah,
last
and this
game.
is the weird, funny part where GCU takes the Varus.
Yeah.
And they do Varus MF. So...
Yeah, they try to counterpick that bot lane to be like, we got you now, and they just still lose the lane.
And it turns out that Haku and Apollo are just like better than them.
I mean, Hakuho Zyra is actually pretty nasty.
Yeah, no,
I actually really like his Zyra.
I think his Zyra is one of the better ones I've seen. Even in the LCS, I think it's really good.
Yeah, they've won some matchups that they should lose because he lands so many roots.
So they lose the bot lane, and Lyra usually doesn't play around bot lane that much, very early.
Yeah.
But for some reason, he did this game, didn't get anything, invaded, and for the second red at 9 minutes, didn't get it, went back over a ward to the Krugs,
yeah.
and then tries to run out, and then Varus hits 6, ultis him, and he dies, and that's first blood for bot lane.
Yeah,
and that was a situation where it's like you just threw away your bot lane lead because you like passed really bad.
Yeah, it was basically they were down 20 CS, and now it's like, oh, we made all that up with a kill, first blood, 600 gold for Varus, great.
But luckily,
the rest of the team finally is like stomping on their own.
Exactly, and even with this bad deficit for bot lane where they got like a free kill, their bot lane still takes bot turret at 10 minutes.
Yep.
By themselves. It was like, okay, well, it doesn't matter that Lyra messed up this game.
The place that he messed up wasn't going to get swayed by that gold advantage, like the gold that he gave
their
them.
bot lane is just way better. And it's hilarious that the last game of the season, last game of the year for this roster, that their team generally like starts carrying Lyra.
Right, because it wasn't just the bot lane. It was, what was Seraphon this time? It was...
He's Rumble.
He was Rumble, and he was beating top really hard over the Renekton, right?
It was the Nautilus.
Oh, the Nautilus, yeah. Well, that's...
Well,
as a Nautilus, you don't do much.
This is a game where I thought that it was great for Envy because they have 2 winning solo lanes. I thought Syndra was a really good power pick for Envy this series because there's not really much that the other player does that beats it. And the thing about Ninja is even if he dies, he'll get the ulti off or he'll get the CC off to where he dies and like it'll be good. And for the most part, Ninja had a good series. He didn't die in random spots overall, and he was able to have some sort of impact on the game.
Yeah, Phoenix actually still played the matchup pretty well. He was almost able to trade kills a couple times, but he messed up going for like a really, really aggressive flash on a blue buff invade by the rest of the team, and like Rumble snipes him out with the ult, and then instead of like trying to flash away and live, he puts the ball on himself and flashes forward to try and kill. And
but he knows Lyra's in the area, so
yeah,
it's just
he knows
like,
he's gonna die, so he dies for that, and then he dies again later to a gank because he doesn't have his flash available.
Yeah, it was both from I think it was Hakuho killed him.
Yeah, Hakuho roamed up from River because their bot lane had super pressure, and then the next time that he still doesn't have flash, he sidesteps everything Ninja throws at him, ults him in, and then Ninja just dips down to the bot side, and he's like, fuck that, I'm not going. He doesn't chase him despite the fact that he's like gonna kill him, or force the flash at least.
Yeah, this is a game where eventually... Actually, Phoenix just ended up dying quite a bit. I think he had 3 deaths.
He was like 0-4 or something
He
like that.
started really negative this game. Mainly because it felt like he was like so impatient to make plays. Like the fact that he tried to flash to trade a kill in a situation where he knows the enemy jungler there, it just speaks of like desperation.
But he does that like a lot generally. Like that's always been one of the things. Is like sometimes you end up with a 4v5, like a 1v4 quadra kill in the bot lane versus CLG, and then like other times you just like look like an idiot. And this was definitely like one of the worst decisions he can make.
One of the worst. Yeah, one of the worst things he can do. I mean, aside from that, pretty much I wrote down that they just baited Baron and then they won.
Yeah, so see, they're basically winning all 3 lanes without Lyra this time around, and then like after that one fuck up, Lyra like doesn't mess up again, and then eventually the game stalls out, and then you get the kick heard round the world.
Oh, that was actually such a good... I actually joked about it. Like, we're watching the game with me, Yuna, Josh. I'm just, watch Lyra right here. Because the entire time I've been hyping up Lyra, but Yuna's just like, yeah, I hear you talk about this guy all
Do you not watch Lyra?
He just sucks him off too much, dude.
Yeah, he... Like,
this show is like low-key the Lyra blowjob show.
Yeah,
like,
it's actually like... And Arrow. Don't forget Arrow.
Oh, yeah, Arrow too.
It's so like, because we talk so highly of him, Yuna gets pretty... Yuna doesn't want to watch him because of that, but like I'm just like, watch this play on Phoenix here, and then he does it. Yuna's just like, there's no way that should have happened. He must have had flash. I think he had Zhonya's. He didn't use it, and afterwards he's like, wait, I guess he did get that play off. And I'm like, that's my boy.
Yeah, the kick for 1,000 free karma. Like that's, if you're a fan watching the show, everyone's just like, yes, finally something I can clip and put on Reddit.
No, that's the play where you're just like, he's that good.
Yeah.
In the clutch situation where you need to find an initiation onto someone in the game, like if it all comes down to him, and it's so funny because the actual game he played terribly, like, or the early game he didn't play that well.
Yeah.
But he made the kick at the very end to win the game, and I was just like, that's my guy.
And it was a flashy one too, where like he takes the Q like down and away, ward hops up, and then flashes like he makes like this like weird triangle move.
And the worst thing is he was in a situation where Mash also had to flash it because. I didn't think he planned it. It was just the angle he had to get to Phoenix.
Right,
but,
he was like in the way.
Yeah.
So like the ward hop put him close enough to Mash, and Mash was like, fuck!
Yeah, he had the flash, and Phoenix didn't have flash, so he just got kicked into the team.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure Lyra's a good enough player that he's tracking flash and knows he doesn't have that.
Exactly. And so that was a situation where, okay, Lyra found the one opening onto the mid laner that just won the game, blew it wide open. I was worried because I wasn't sure if they can like actually push in their lead, even though it was like 5K gold lead. I think it was a decent.
No, it was.
Was
big.
it close?
Yeah, no, it was bigger than that.
Oh, it was like 8K. Man.
Yeah, it was like 8 to 10K.
I don't remember. I just remember I was like, is there still a way that Envy loses this? Probably not.
Because even though like they weren't blowing the game wide open, they like ground out an advantage to the point where it was like 8K before they even got that Baron buff, and then they got the Baron. They took the bot inhibitor with like a rumble ult at the last second, and then instead of going for Baron again, they go. I like this decision a lot. Where like, what's harder for Envy to do? Take an open inhib in the bot lane or bait Baron correctly? And it's like, we should go for the open inhibitor because we're gonna fuck up the Baron bait. So I like that decision to go to the bot lane, and then yeah, you see what happens. Lyra gets this monster kickoff.
All right, so what's our general impressions about the series after the series is over? Anything you want to say? Any last words?
Yeah, so after that, they take 3 inhibs, they recall, they go back, game's over. I think it was fitting that he had like the game. I actually really liked the way the series ended a little bit with Game 5, where it's like, on Reddit, there's an interview where like Seraph was like, man, I feel bad for Lyra. Like, we just let this dude down.
Yeah,
he's like
a world-class
jungler.
jungler.
Yeah, and he's like fighting the NA relegations. Like, what the fuck are we doing with this guy? And then they carry him in the early game this time around and like give him the game. And he's like, thanks guys, let me go win you this one now. He's like that star quarterback who's like down on his luck and the team rallies around him. And then he wins them the game.
Sounds like some like high school movie they wrote.
Yeah, except instead of like being in the state finals, they're like against like the other reject squad. Like this is like the JV teams. Like, we're trying out for varsity, guys. It's not quite the epic story.
But still, they're able to clutch it out. Feels a little bit bad for GCU. I was just here to watch good games, hopefully, or if not good games, at least a very fast sweep. I think the games relatively were close. Envy has the exact same problems that we thought they had the entire season.
Nothing changed.
The relegation tournament isn't good enough to capitalize, and I think that this tournament did show a little bit about how Hakuo and Apollo are not that bad. I think I talked a little bit about my couch squad about bot lane duos in the LCS, and where I put Hakuo and Apollo, I actually think they're 5th.
No.
You say that, okay?
Yeah, but as I say that, I'm like, let me think about this. Before we devolve too much,
okay.
Let's wrap up a little bit on this series a little bit more. Did you care who won? I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday.
I like multiple people on both teams.
Right. So I think we were both of the opinion where we want a lot of the players to stay in the scene, but we don't particularly care about the orgs. Where we weren't like, oh man, Envy's management's like really great guys, or like GCU's really great guys. We were just kind of like,
yeah. If anything, I talked to Mark about this before. I think Envy's like management, like the coaching staff in particular, like messed up the season hard. I don't like, for instance, it's really hard to usually see what happens behind the scenes. I don't really like to go and be like, this coach did terribly, but usually you can rate a coach based on like the level of improvement of a team or lack of. I think Envy's team there really wasn't much improvement throughout the entire split.
Maybe at the very end, you could say their bot lane found enough synergy and picks to start being a little bit of a threat.
Yeah, but I think that if that's like your overall improvement, then that's pretty lacking, in my opinion.
Right, and you even hear about like, and maybe this is a little unfair to put in the coaching staff, but you hear about the attitude of like Scarra and stuff like that, where they just like think solo queue's garbage, and it's like, even if solo queue's garbage, you need to play it. You need to spam solo queue to keep your mechanics up.
I mean, he ended like top 5, top 10, so it's not like he wasn't playing solo queue. It's just like, I guess the mentality may not be great. You know?
Right, it's like, I don't know, like, why are you talking about that? Why are you not talking about your team? Like, I didn't see the full interview, so I don't know exactly how it all was brought up, but like, he's always been critical of solo queue, and I don't know. It just felt like, it didn't feel like the team like super cared, you know? Like, I didn't see like the fire that you see like out of TL, like, oh my god, get us out of here.
I mean, you could just look at the very last screenshot of them winning the promo relegations in a game 5. Just like, it's like
no one like popped off.
Yeah, no one popped off, dude.
Happiest people were the managers and owners who like came on the stage afterwards.
Yeah, like the people, you should see if someone wins, like when TL won their promo relegation game.
They went out and like went to a club. They like went fucking crazy.
Yeah, and just Steve went wild, but we're focusing on players, right? So like the players were like super happy, like they did it, you know. And it sucks that you have to be happy about like staying in the LCS, but it's still something.
Right. I mean, like you feel good, you worked hard, you won, great. Didn't really feel like that with MB. And like we were saying, I would like to see Lyra. I would like to see Apollo and Hakuho. I would like to see Phoenix, and I'd like to see Santorin.
I think those are all pretty good. I'd like to see Mad Life maybe with a different AD.
It's hard to say.
But it's really hard to say because maybe like it's a combination. Like they both ended up losing bot lane, you know? And so it's really hard for me to pinpoint just on MASH. You know, I don't think MASH had a good series at all, but I also don't know if Mad Life had a great series either.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about the two supports, please start doing this. If you're in my games, okay, when you get to late game,
none of the high players.
And you're okay, sorry, none of you. But when you're in my games and you're the support player or you're going on and you're trying to secure an objective, there's one game where Mad Life bought 3 pink wards or red wards, and and Hakuo bought 2. So they all stack onto the same slot.
Yeah.
And so that way, when you're trying to control the objective, you don't ever have to back. You drop multiple ones. And so I thought that was really smart. A lot of people are doing that competitive scene. Please copy that because that is very, very smart of people.
And I saw some people saying they didn't think Santorin was that good, but like this dude had to play 9 games against Lyra. Like you're gonna look bad. Lyra out-jungled everyone in the LCS.
I think he played well in 3 of the 9. So, and I would say that's about the rate that Sven plays against Lyra.
Yeah,
I have Sven as like a top 3 or top 4 jungler during this split.
Right. So it's kind of like don't think too bad if you lose to Lyra.
Yeah, I think if you lose to Lyra in the early game, that's just normal.
Yeah, that just happens. You just try not to get taken apart, and for the most part, Santorin like wasn't totally taken apart. There's like 1 or 2 games.
He had a lot of games where it was a situation where he just had to hold on, and he did pretty well.
Yeah, that's not something you hear much. That's how good Lyra is he defines the hold-on jungler role. You hear about that from bot lanes and mid lanes and top lanes. When you're against Lyra, you become a hold-on jungler.
I can't even say anything about that.
So with that, that is the end of the promotion tournament coverage. We are going to do predictions, correct, for the first match that is playing on Saturday for the playoffs.
Correct. But before you do that, do you want to touch on my question of the top?
The ball. Yeah. I'll answer this.
Okay.
So you got
Smoothie
Sneaky.
Okay.
Then you have Stixay Afro.
Okay.
Maybe. I would have to think a little bit about it.
Okay.
I would still, despite how bad Stunt and Shady looked, I would still take Arrow and Stunt.
Over Immortals bot lane. You think?
Wait, Immortals? I didn't.
Oh, you think no?
This is not really in order because you didn't ask for my order. You asked for teams I would put.
Okay. Keep going.
Okay, and then Immortals is in there as well. And then the question is TSM's bot lane, I think. Right?
But let's say
because I'd take TL's bot lane even now over Apollo and Hakaho. Assuming double lift is an option with Matt, like I'll take that. Double is a beast. And then there's 5. See, not in my top 5.
Would he be 6th?
Maybe. So we got Diggs bot lane. I would consider them over Diggs bot lane. Echo Fox bot lane. Who else am I
It'd just
missing?
be TSM's bot lane.
TSM's bot lane. Probably over TSM's bot lane. Not the entire bot lane though. It's weird. I would actually rather have Turtle and Biofrost out of laning phase.
Oh yeah, but we're talking strictly in lane.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, strictly in lane. Yeah. Maybe I put them.
So that's the funny thing is because like when you play it like that, you're like, they could be either right outside the top 5.
Yeah.
But I think that speaks really poorly of our lanes in our bot lane duos this year. But that's just how it is.
That's how it is. Anyways, there's the answer. They're close to top 5.
Okay. Predictions for next week. Next week's match is FlyQuest versus Seal. Is that correct? Am I correct?
You should double check that real quick.
FlyQuest versus COG, and it's
Dig versus P1.
yes.
FlyQuest versus CLG, I'm pretty sure is the first one because I heard them talking about it on the analyst desk, and they said FlyQuest is 3-8 in their last 11 series, and CLG is 8-3 in their last 11 series.
Phoenix won versus Team Dignitas on Saturday.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And CLG versus FlyQuest.
All right. So
All right. So P1 versus Dig is a less.
Do you want to just do that and every day we predict the next one?
Yeah. Because otherwise the best of 5 doesn't give us like a ton to talk about. We've been live for probably like close to an hour ish.
Sure.
So P1 versus Dignitas. I think unsurprising to most people, we're probably gonna say P1 wins this.
Yeah. I think Dig actually drew kind of unlucky. If they get drawn, either of the other teams, it's not unlucky. They ended where they ended.
Yeah.
Right?
But in terms of like, you look at the other 2 teams, you can probably put up a good
the
fight.
other 3 teams, right?
Well, they're one of the 3 teams. They can't play themselves.
Oh no, because it's 4 teams.
Right, and they can't play themselves.
Oh right. Oh, never mind. I'm an idiot. Yeah, the other 3 teams. You're right.
Other 2 teams.
Other 2 teams that
because they're not P1.
Not the one they're playing right now.
Yeah.
You're right. Sorry.
Well, I guess that you're right.
I'm in it. Okay.
We're just talking past each other a little bit.
Okay, so yeah, I think that they just got kind of unfortunate with their.
Yeah, I think they have a chance versus the other 2 teams. P1, I actually don't even think like early game stacked up particularly well because I think someday withstands Zig pretty easily. I don't think Ryu like shits on Keen consistently. Like I bet he'll have a game or 2 where he makes Keen look bad, but Keen with Chaser might make Ryu look bad once as well. And then the bot lane of P1, as good as it is not like super lane dominant.
My problem with it is like the way you explain P1 is you have a bot lane that is just better in lane. So C9 did it, right? Just like crushed them. But they're C9. So they have a bot lane that can do that.
Yeah.
Dignitas's bot lane has, for the most of the split, been a bottom 2 bot lane.
Yeah, they've been one of the worst.
They've been like pretty bad. The only time I can even think of when they solo killed their enemy opponent was when they killed Piglet.
I was about to say when it was against like Inting Piglet.
Yeah. And so like with all that in mind, I don't think they can really abuse the biggest weakness of P1 or one of the bigger weaknesses of P1. And so it depends on the jungle matchup for me because I would prefer to see Meteos in this situation almost.
Right. But the thing is, Chaser plays well now. This is not Chaser who was like useless most early games, if not losing his team the game. He's actually like snowballing Keen or snowballing Chaser.
If this was his performance throughout the year, we would have him somewhere like number 4 or in top 4.
I already have him top 4 actually, just because we were talking about this. Every jungler has like something you can shit talk them about. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
Every single one outside Lyra has looked like bad at parts. Like Sven gets destroyed sometimes game one. Dardoch just like hard feeds despite being like the hardest carry jungler.
Then there's
Like Contracts is just relatively unimpressive. Meteos, like he turns ganks for his team, but it's like
when the game's on Elise, he like looked pretty bad.
yeah, he ran bot lane and killed himself. Like I don't know, half of them you can talk smack about. Lyra late game has been bad.
I mean, but that's their whole team.
Yeah, like what do you want them to do? Have you seen them like control an objective and like have like turn off correctly? Like no.
The thing is, it's like how much do you want to give a single player credit for his entire team's performance? So, for instance, is it his job to make their vision game good? Is it his job to also shot call? Is it his job to make his solo laners look
To
good?
initiate the team fight
Yes.
and then carry the team fight.
Yeah, so like, and all these questions you have to ask yourself, maybe it is. Like, for a lot of these, for like, what, Immortals, it's Dardoch's job to win the early game every game, snowball the game to the point where they can win. And I think Lyra does that more consistently than Dardoch, but he has a worse team, so like, they just lose.
Yeah, they don't have Flame, who's actually been a pretty consistent top laner. Pobelter stabilized to the point where he's still like lower half, but okay. He's not like literally unable to team
And their
fight
bot
on
lane's actually
Orianna.
good.
And their bot lane's actually good, right? Which we're starting to see a little bit out of Envy's, but they just like can't win team fights.
Yeah, so like, is it Lyra's fault that their vision control is bad? Yeah, in some degree, maybe. But it's hard for me to put all of Envy's problems onto one person. Especially, I think, I personally give Lyra a lot of credit because he's performing the best on the worst placed team. But I think even I like try to temper my expectations around the team he's playing against, and it's regardless of team. Anywhere in the standings, Lyra is going off. Anywhere in the standings.
Yeah.
And it's not like just TSM game 1. It's like, oh, TSM game 2 and 3, he could also go off. It's like against the Mortals, against like anyone else, he could also go off. And so I think my evaluation of Lyra is fairly high, and I don't give him too much like doubt because his team in general isn't that good.
Anyways, we're totally off topic, sucking Lyra's dick again when we're talking about P1 and Dignitas somehow. Let's get back on topic. We don't exactly know who's going to play between Meteos and Inori, but I don't think it's a big deal against Dignitas.
I don't think it's that big of a deal because what's going to happen is unless Chaser snowballs the game really hard early, which I think is going to be the main win condition for Dignitas, Dig's bot lane isn't good enough to be able to hard smash the enemy laner to the point where Arrow doesn't get to mid game even.
The big problem that I see with this series is I don't actually think like even late game P1's shot calling is like substantially better. I think it is better, but not like amazingly better. The thing is their team fighting is amazing because their carries are like beasts, and then Zig has been a rock in the top lane, like doing what he needs to in each team fight for the most part. Sometimes he goes a little too far in his initiation, whatever. But
so I think that Dig has a chance to win, but they match up fairly poorly against P1, like very poorly.
If Dig had like an explosive early game, I would give him a better chance.
Or bot lane that was better in lane, I'd give him a better chance as well. But in general, like that's why even the jungler doesn't matter too much. For me, the big X factor is just like how Keen is going to play the day of and how Chaser is going to play the day of.
Right. I think the fact that also Zig, for the most part, has like a weird champ pool that's a little hard to deal with frustrates someday probably a little bit. Not like actually tilts him in game or anything like that, but you can't necessarily like just beat Zig through draft or like someday we'll have a CS advantage over him. Zig actually doesn't have great CS stats in lane. But that's the whole point of Zig is that like you can't beat him that hard, and he's playing GP and he's down 20 CS, but fuck it, like late game he's good, and that's the thing about Zig. So I think Zig matches up pretty well against Someday in that regard, where he's not expected to do much early game, and then yeah, Ryu and Arrow are just way better than their counterparts.
That's what I think as well, especially when you're going to late game. Those are the two carries you want on your team for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're like, oh yeah, Jensen would be an upgrade probably,
Yeah,
or Bjergsen,
Bjergsen.
but like Ryu's totally fine, definitely a top 5 mid laner in the league right now, and the support position a little suspect, just because P1 supports haven't looked great.
And Xpecial's been kind of on a little bit of an upswing, but I don't really give him too much credit because I think they're overall like Chaser and him have just got like Chaser's been unlocked.
I think the best thing that like Special does is out of lane, like finding picks with his team and like vision control with Chaser has become pretty good. And even if you get a lead versus them, sometimes you face check Special, and if he's on Malzahar, he ults you and then they kill you. But that doesn't match up well with what we're saying they need to do versus P1, which is crush the bot lane so Arrow is behind the game state.
Mm-hmm. Or be in a situation where they crush another lane hard enough to where they dive bot lane and blow it open early.
Right.
I mean, in either situation, I don't really think of Dig as the team that's super good at doing that. However, I will give them credit in that Chaser's been playing so much better to the point where it's an option that maybe he is able to enable his team to get to that position.
Right. If Chaser plays like a top 3 jungler for 5 games and P1 underperforms a little bit, who knows? I think there's a world that Dignitas wins, but for me, my prediction would probably be 3-1 P1. I'll throw the game in there.
Oh, I hate doing that. The 3-1 predictions are always the predictions where I'm just like, this guy doesn't want to be confident enough in
For
him
a 3-0.
for a 3-0, and he doesn't, and the game's not close enough to be a 3-2.
Exactly.
So you just say 3-1, and you could say 3-1 about every series in the game, and what happens afterwards, in hindsight, you could be like, oh yeah, dude, they were just a lot better than I thought. So of course I gave him the extra game, or of course we take away an extra game.
So what are you gonna say then?
I wanted to say 3-1.
Yeah, you motherfucker, you can't just rail on me.
Oh, I know, man. I know. I think, God, the thing is, it's like,
I agree 100% that there's times where people are just being pussies and they won't say 3-0 when it should be a 3-0. This is not. I actually don't think either of the series really this time are that way. I actually think there's a world where, Dignitas just snowballs a game because Chaser countered Meteor/Inori around the top lane, and then or Keen craps on Ryu with some extra jungle pressure. That happens once.
right, and oh my God, ooh.
Come on, sack up, dude. Sack up. I'm a bitch. I'll say 3-1, but you can be the hero that Twitch chat wants.
I don't want to. The thing is, it's like,
Sack up. Sack up.
I think it's gotten. If they didn't get so much better in the last 3 weeks, God, come on. I think it's gonna be 3-1 as well.
Oh God, you're a bitch.
Oh.
Hey.
Fine.
Oh God, 3-1s for both of us for P1. Do you guys want to do a QA session this time around?
Yeah,
I think that's gonna do it for our prediction.
No,
We're
we're
doing
doing
one each
We're
day.
doing a series every day. So next week we'll be doing, after the Dig series, we'll be doing the predictions for CLG.
All right.
We don't want to spoil the best prediction.
What are we
Not
doing?
really.
Some people
Are
are
we
like,
wrapping
"What
up?
was that?" It's like you guys will learn. All right, you're still young.
What was that?
Yeah, you'll see them someday.
Maybe
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. You're spending your time watching
Easy.
competitive League of Legends.
Easy. Josh, sit down. Let's get this going.
What if we
All
put
right.
Josh in the middle?
Oh,
for
and
a
all the
change?
people who subscribed, thank you.
Last Digimon, I shouted them out a little bit through text, so there's that. Yeah.
Scar, I mean, you
I'm a nice
You want
guy.
to get in here? You can pop. A
Yeah,
squat.
we can.
Papa Squat.
Yeah, we'll move this guitar.
All right, give us some questions. Oh wait, for the people who want to give us questions,
We can just do it on stream.
Oh,
'Cause we normally do hashtagging, but for people who just want to ask questions, we can just pull them up and.
All right, sure, dude. I'm down.
I want cookies.
I can't reach at this fast, honestly. Someone else has.
All right, I'll do it.
I'm a slow.
I'll do
reader.
it. So if you have a question for us that isn't if X Champion is viable, please feel free to ask.
I saw one. Who's front runner for rookie of the split? I mean, we had to submit our votes. I don't think we're supposed to talk about them yet.
Oh, okay. We're not.
Have you been doing that?
A little bit, but
Confirmed on Scarra's stream. Jesus.
no, I'm good.
All right. Well, who's the best, worst caster to work with? I saw that one.
I've never casted, so.
Yeah.
Well, I've only casted with Optimus Tom, so I'm assuming you're meaning like other analysts on the analyst desk.
I don't even interact with other analysts.
It's just me?
Yes. That's why I'm like, it's only you.
I actually love working with Dash because I feel like our segments are super structured and like we hit points and all that stuff. But I do like when Freak comes on because we just say so much stupider shit, and I'm always down with like being like an idiot. And so like he'll crack a dumb joke and then we'll laugh about it, and like generally we don't do that otherwise. So I do like the kind of change up curveball that Freak being the host of the analyst desk is.
Is there a chance Envy wins that series without Lyra?
No. Was that a question?
Yes.
No. Not at all.
Yeah, let's take their best player and see what happens when they lose him. I don't know. They lose.
So if you took double lift out of TL, put Golden Glue 80 carry, do you think they get out of relegation?
Bring
Scarra?
back Young Bin. Bring back Young. No, never mind.
Is there
Crush
any
him.
predictions for roster swaps? Someone you think is going to be out of there or any team?
I think Turtle's getting the boot. I don't think there's a world. Like, maybe they try and keep him for, like, 6-man roster, but there's no chance he's the starter. I don't think, at least.
Turtle on teal.
Turtle on TL sounds possible.
Yeah, that's plausible. Maybe Turtle to Equifax.
I think Turtle will have a pretty good pick of things he wants to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure Dig would grab him.
Yeah.
Probably. I feel like he can go to most teams. And even though we talk about his laning phase being slightly exploitable by the top teams, I mean, shit, he's still better than, like, a lot of those other guys. So I think he can go anywhere. Lyra, I would love to see get out of NB, but it depends how the contract's structured and all that
He
stuff.
signed like a 1 to 3 year contract. I forgot. He signed a full year.
There's a very different time span.
He's
from
either
one
there
to
forever,
NB prison.
or it might be done soon. I don't know.
NB prison. That's what you're gonna call it. NB contract prison.
I mean,
Jesus.
we were geeking out about like the possibility of Lyra joining like TSM or something. Like,
Yeah, that would be us.
Like,
I mean, he can.
TSM with both Lyra and Double Lift with their current roster sounds disgusting.
Damn, that sounds dirty.
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance Echofox will definitely change it up.
They
Like,
still won't make out of
I think
that world.
I think Echofox. This is actually really funny. Every split they have one piece of the puzzle, and so like I feel like the first split they're just like, yes, we have Froggen. The next split they're like, oh, Froggen and Acadian, yes.
No, that was. They've been in here for 3 splits now, dude.
Is it 3?
Yeah, they were Echo
Wait, is it
Fox in summer or in spring.
What did they change up between spring and summer?
Nothing. They had import slot problems where they didn't have KFO in the first split, right? Am I crazy? Weren't they in spring last year?
Maybe.
Were they?
Maybe, but
don't
I
know.
feel like they're like a team that would switch it up like every time. You know, so I think like this year, well, regardless, this year they have Acadian and Froggen. They're pretty good, and they gotta find the other pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what the other pieces are.
And I would honestly be down to give Looper another split, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not like, it depends how it was behind the scenes. From the outside, it wasn't such a disaster where it was with KFO, where I'm like, this guy can't play League of Legends competitively.
I think at the very minimum, you either hold tryouts or you have people compete for their spots again. I'm okay with the idea of like even keeping the entire roster the same, which just sounds crazy, but if they do, they really need a way to where like if someone's not performing well, because I think Keith heavily underperformed this split, like, or even maybe not even heavily, he underperformed for sure this split.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but I think his actual skill level is much better. So if he can find that again,
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like a reset helps. Like,
yeah.
if you have another 80 carry, you can step in.
Or just like having the ability to like have that kind of like instant swap stuff. Like, you know, Keith used to be the way to like
Motivate
Piglet,
AD
you know? And then maybe like Keith needs his own Keith. Another Keith.
He just needs to put a mustache on.
A mini
The Keith to the
Yeah.
Keith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else would happen? I think Immortals might see changes, but I'm not 100% sure.
You think any teams would look at the Challenger Series and be like, there's a person out? Like, is there anyone who's a direct upgrade to the current rosters of NALCS that they would pick someone from
think-
like Gold Coin or something?
Zazel is interesting.
I think Zazel could be
Very
good
interesting.
for a lot of people. I think a lot of people were like, everyone was talking about the E United rookies, obviously.
I like Licorice.
I like Licorice, but he's in such a competitive scene where like
Well, top lane's
Top lane,
really,
top lane's
really
actually
competitive right now.
hard.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Is like Licorice 2 splits ago, maybe, but like now, it's like he's not better than
Oh wait,
Flames.
so for people who don't understand, start listing the top
All right, Concert.
Top lanes like Concert.
Obviously, number one, Impact's a beast, and then someday, even though he's not looking the best on the
he's
team,
really good, and
he's
you're like,
unbelievably good.
Zig's really
And then
good.
Zig, yeah.
Zig got a little bit of a snub there. He should have been on that thing, and then you're like, all right, well, there's also Ray who looked decent at the times he came in. Lorlo's been pretty solid, actually.
Yeah.
Probably you could say the best performer on
Last
TL.
3 weeks of what's
You already
it
had like what number?
Dark
seven?
Yeah,
Summer split. Darshan's been playing
Yeah,
really well.
Darshan's kind of been carrying them a little bit.
And so you start.
I mean, Looper has some good weeks
Yeah,
and bad
I think-
weeks. Looks like a little out of
it
sync.
maybe Looper and Flame. There's still Flame. I
Oh,
don't think
yeah,
Flame had
Flame's in there as
terrible
well,
stuff. It's like it's
Wait,
like
we're at like
It's like- and
number
then-
9, number 10. What the
We gotta
fuck?
sub the We have 11 now.
Yeah, it's like, all right. And then Balls looked solid. Like, Balls might have been the best player on his team, right?
Yeah, so when you're in all...
And then there's like Seraph. And then,
yeah,
that's 11.
So I guess Licorice is possible that he gets in, but I think top lane somehow went from like a position where we needed a lot of talent to everyone imported, and the talent got better. So it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
I didn't say Lorlo was better than Double F Rainover. I was just saying, like, for a while, he was playing the best.
Yep.
Anyways, like, yeah, any top laners are hard. AD carry definitely did not have a good showing.
I think bot lane in general felt like lacking the split for NALCS, right? Like if you're talking about like who's the top support, it's like, well, there's
Bio.
Smoothie and
Bio,
Bio,
Smoothie.
and then
Yeah,
right?
it was tough to come up with a third.
And then AD carry, it's like Arrow's clearly the best, and then there's like a couple, you know, like
I think Eddie's a little bit better because there's Stixay, Double F, Sneaky.
yeah. But then there's like a huge jump
Aaron.
out of that, right? Like after that, like top tier, like
Yeah.
everyone drops down really far, and I think it's pretty similar for his support.
Right, and the sad thing was the AD carries in the promotion tournament didn't look good.
Yeah.
Like, I think definitely, I don't know if it was stage nerves or just like he was against weaker competition in the Challenger Series. I think he deserves tryouts, but he's not like a shoe-in for replacing a Lod. Like, I'm not convinced he's just better than Lod or something like
Wait,
that.
who are you talking about?
Definitely.
The
Oh,
AD carry, yeah,
AD
definitely.
Who do you think is going to get replaced? What
From-
team is going to get roster changes that we haven't
You
said
can
yet?
get roster changes for sure.
That we haven't said yet.
You guys haven't said yet?
There's
Damn.
like,
I mean, should we just go with team by
I mean,
team?
FlyQuest
Like-
is one we haven't talked about. Talk to me about
Oh, yeah,
FlyQuest,
no.
your boys.
I don't know. Would they actually replace anyone on FlyQuest?
I
You
don't
think
know,
so?
Do you break up the power of friendship?
Yeah.
It feels like such
Oh,
a
God.
Like
friendship.
them and CLG are powered by the friendship
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
does
they're powered by
friendship
anime
break up the-
storylines.
I feel like those teams will actually see replacements, not this split, but the split after that.
But usually, I thought in anime the second season is when like the
All the breakups
all
happen.
the breakups happen.
Damn.
No, you gotta wait for the time skip, dude.
Oh,
The time skips between
Well, they break
seasons.
up and then they time skip, right? Like
Yeah.
one-
Oh, no, you're right, you're right.
Yeah.
So
They'll
the
come back
breakup's
together
gonna happen,
stronger.
and then they're gonna come back in season 10. and then-
Yeah, season like 3 or 4 is going to
Yeah.
come back together
And
from
if
different
High
teams.
is in the Challenger Series somehow again.
Yeah. No, well, no. So High is the coach at that point, and now he's, you know.
And you got a bench
Wait,
in the
what
mid laner
role
to
has
come
High
back.
played?
Yeah.
He hasn't played top lane,
He hasn't
right?
played
He comes
AD.
back as a fucking
Or
top
AD.
lane god. Or AD god.
Oh my god! Please.
I think it'd be interesting as a top player. Not gonna lie, but I think,
High top lane?
but he actually want to off himself because I think he thinks the role is really boring, especially when tanks are like really popular.
Yeah, I can't imagine High, like personality-wise,
tank.
playing a tank.
Let's go, guys! As he walks up with like,
He would be the most aggro tank ever, dead at the start of
Just
every
flashes
team fight.
every fight, like flash W every fight.
All right, give us another question,
All
Twitch
right,
chat.
what's another question?
ooh,
Do you guys-
Longzhu Rush, is that legit?
Wait,
I don't
really?
care. That's not
Oh,
North
yeah, you're
America.
right,
Who
you're right,
cares?
okay, you're
I
right,
don't
you're
even
right.
know what is Longzhu.
But
is
I
that
love
a food?
Rush. That's our boy.
Rush is North American though.
Yeah,
That's
our
true. That's
boy.
true.
The North American Monkey King.
All right.
Santorin
Do
on
we?
FlyQuest.
I think Santorin
FlyQuest.
deserves a LCS spot.
But
I-
the jungle's
played pretty well, though.
Yeah, I don't think
This
it's
fight.
bad.
Yeah, I think Moon played like pretty well this split. Like definitely an improvement from the last two splits where it's like, damn.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the other splits he just
and
looked
then he locked
bad,
in
so-
Shaco, and then I was like, okay.
Hey.
We don't talk about the Shaco game.
Yeah.
The games.
Golden
Games,
Glue
yeah.
coming back. You think Golden Glue would come back on a team?
I think he's gonna have to work his way through Challenger.
Yep.
I don't think an LCS team would take a shot at him.
I think especially the mid lane position is too hard. Like I'm serious when I talked to Golden Glue on Beyond the Rift and I said there's a lot of mid laners have quit their role to try to get through as support. I'm serious. About 222 just recently swapped. 8 Shady, the P1 player, 7 months ago was a mid laner.
He was?
Yes, legitimately, I'm telling you, if you want to get to LCS and you're playing mid lane, good luck.
He
You
played
gotta be
Victor.
Try to
pretty
carry,
good.
dude. What are you talking about? Weren't we just saying that?
Try to carry brainless. You think what's gonna happen to
You saying
Piglet?
something about 80 carries?
Piglet
Mr. Ethan?
retires after this split. You think or he'll stay?
Okay, let me put this. I think there's a good chance he retires or he'll leave. So the way I see it is like, let's say he leaves.
Why would he leave if he's being paid money though, right? Like,
Yeah, I think actually the contract matters a lot here.
Yeah.
More than like motivation. Or
yeah,
team
I
opinion.
think so. Like,
so TL will just like win and kick him.
Well, they might not. I don't know what they would do, but like, what do you do if you sign him for like, if you had him for $200,000 on the year or something, and you
Yeah.
can't get rid of him? He's like,
Can't get rid of. Leave. Bro.
you just eat that.
yeah,
guess
I don't think
not.
so. Dude, do you know how much money they spent already?
Yeah.
You see Steve throwing the money? Like maybe he's got more, but
Yeah,
he
maybe.
probably doesn't want
I mean,
to.
he already went to the Swiss banks to pay for Double Lift and Adrian and all that.
Yeah.
We'll have
And
to see.
Kane.
I mean, that's the weird thing is like you ask that question about most teams and you're like, yeah, that's a big contract to try and just sit on. But then you're like, it's TL.
They can do it.
Yeah.
I think TL rebuilds around what we were talking about, Reino Renorlo. And I think that Piglet is like in that equation is weird. I don't really like it, and I don't see Piglet joining another NA team. Which NA team would you get Piglet to try?
I don't think that happens.
PSM.
No.
Yeah, why
I mean,
not have a 3-man rotating
Yeah,
AD
fuck
carry?
it.
Oh no! What?
7-man
He's
roster.
there to rotate for Bjergsen.
Oh yeah, you're right. My bad.
No, Echo Fox, Piglet, right? They need new AD, right?
Yeah, and then they drop Looper for Licorice.
Fuck.
Boom, that team sounds great.
Wow,
That sounds dirty.
that's like-
as in dirty as in. Oh my god, why is it so fucking dirty in here?
that did not clarify what kind
Yeah,
of
that
Yeah, that's
is
still-
like, it was.
That was
Look
terrible.
at my tone, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
that was the worst description ever.
Phoenix
Dirty.
on CLG or Envy? I could see him on Envy.
Who?
Phoenix on CLG or Envy. I think you saw some of the problems with Phoenix this series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of it's not about his
I mean,
lane.
did you see that
What
game
about,
5
what about
compared to
Gilius?
Yeah.
I want to know about that. You think he'll actually a team?
Gilius?
Gilius?
No, I don't think so.
Really? He's gonna
Wouldn't
fight
you grab
someone on the
Santorum before him? Santorum's even an NA resident.
Dude, they just pick him up to be an enforcer for the team. So when they're
Oh,
like
a
walking
bodyguard.
walking by, he like bumps into him and is like,
He's just a sub to get shit started.
Yeah,
behind
yeah,
the
exactly.
scenes.
So you can find drama later?
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
because he didn't do shit in person? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they would go for Gilius for a lot of people.
So a couple of things that had been floating around before this split was certain supports who really want a Western presence. So people like Peekaboo, who actually speaks
Oh, yeah.
English quite well. I actually think
Gorilla doesn't sound too fucking happy right now.
I don't know what
He
happened
doesn't.
with Gorilla. So.
Oh,
Didn't you see that there was like on Reddit? It was like I hurt inside. I miss old
Yeah,
rocks.
Oh,
I
I
did.
did.
Yeah, he was like,
Yeah,
kill
and,
me.
And it's like, you know what could solve that pain?
NA money.
Team Liquid
Yeah.
Cash, baby.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Did you read
Yeah, he
that
went to
thing
the
with Smash?
region that probably pays the worst. Come on, right?
Yeah, I mean honestly, he has a good English like following a little bit. I know Gorilla.
Well, I actually love
Yeah.
If you ever hear Keith talk about Gorilla, he loves Gorilla. Like,
Oh, yeah, dude.
Like
I
actually think Gorilla is great. And if he comes to North America, he's very similar in terms of personality. I feel like to Arrow to some extent.
You're
from what I
right,
understand.
right, yeah.
And so he would do great here.
Yeah. Yeah, just wait, like TL pays him the money,
Echo Fox,
gets a couple of the Elo honeys around him, he'd be like,
Gorilla, and he turns Keith into a superstar, and then he becomes a Mada to Looper, and boom, they go to the worlds.
So they bench Froggen?
No. Gorilla's the support.
Right,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
how
but
is he
the-
going to
the
become the
import
Mata
slot.
for Looper if they have 3 import slots and you have
Wait,
Looper and
how do,
Froggen?
okay, so the import thing, if you're in the
I keep thinking Frog.
You're in the.
if you're in the team for
Wait,
2
wait,
years, right?
No, they changed it.
Oh wait, what is
is
it
it
now?
They upped it to 4.
4?
Yeah.
Jesus!
How long has Froggen been here?
2.
Like 2.
He was at the start of Echo Fox, which we still didn't confirm if it was spring or summer last year.
Yeah.
I'm 99% sure it's
4
spring.
years?
Maybe Ryan will know this.
Dude.
Dude, I can't even.
I mean,
count that.
chances are
Yeah,
they
shit,
chances
are
are they
you
change
4
it
years old
again.
yet? Fuck.
No, I don't. It's like not even like set. I don't know. They could up it again. Who knows?
They up it again. Right as the people are gonna get.
Wait,
to
4 years is so long.
Make
Like,
That's like longer than most pro careers.
yeah, I'm trying to think like 4 years ago,
Isn't that the start of like competitive league?
when did LCS start technically? Like
season 3.
season
Yes.
3. So like
It's
you would have to been here from the
Well,
inception of
that's why C9 was supposedly so mad. If you guys don't remember, they had Rush. They were gonna have him take a split off while they had Impact, and then they have Jensen. And then at the start of next year, they would have
That's
been
right,
in
I
here for
remember
2
this now,
years.
yeah.
And then
they switched it
then
up
because
on
they
them.
changed the rules. You can never
And
have.
that's why Rush left.
You can never have a lineup of Impact, Rush, Jensen.
Oh, that would have been
Oh, yeah,
disgusting.
But that would have never happened because of the other stuff. That's the stuff that Reddit says would have happened, but that would have never have happened because
Right.
the behind the scenes was different than what they thought.
Sure. But that was what the community was
Right,
popping off about.
exactly. In a perfect world, that was the situation, but that would have never have happened.
you have something you want to tell us, Scarra?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about
Wait,
at all.
really?
Yeah, can you tell me? Can
Oh,
you just tell me real
my
quick?
God.
Can you tell us on
No,
stream?
we'll talk about it later.
Ooh. I'll keep the mic on.
You can't know shit.
All right, well,
got
we're
you
gonna
guys.
wrap it up real quick. All right,
Yeah.
see you. Chief.
All right, so they can't see us anymore. Scar, supposed to do.
You can't hear me.
All the people who subbed are like, God damn it, I want my money back.
No, don't worry about it. I didn't say anything. Keep going.
All right, I never would go after that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, that would never work. You would have to bench one of the two. I could see TSM has import slots to burn.
So does CLG. I always
yeah.
thought, when is CLG going to break apart? Because they've been together for 3 splits.
You were predicting this next
No,
split.
I said within this year.
Okay.
This
So,
is
I
the
don't
year
know.
of the time skip, dude. This is where friendship needs to sell out.
Right. So so what happens at the end of this split, COG all go their separate ways.
Yeah.
And at the end, starting of next year, they all come back together and they form
FlyQuest.
FlyQuest
version 2.
North American Rocks Tigers.
Exactly.
So someone asked about Phoenix on CLG, and I actually think that's a horrible idea. Not because Phoenix is like worse than Huhi or anything like that, but they are just like legitimately the exact opposite players. And I don't like that'd be such a shift. In
Like-
like,
Phoenix plays for himself. They both make they try to make big plays.
Yeah, like you get that person if you want to always be able to say my mid laner has more CS than the other teams.
yeah.
That's like not a very tempting reason for
Yeah,
me to
it's
take
like,
Phoenix.
all right, you have the wave pushed. What do you do? Huhi's like, I could run around the map. And Phoenix is
like,
like,
I'm
I
gonna
can hit him under his
hit the
turret.
tower.
Yeah. and so like I don't think. Yeah, I think Phoenix in lane, great player. He's just like
Has any coach told Phoenix that maybe he should try doing something else on Ari?
Yeah,
besides
no
just
one,
hit
no
the
one has
turret?
ever told him that. All right, I didn't sit there with an analyst dedicated to tracking his warding and reminding him every time his trinket was on cooldown or not on cooldown.
Dude, someone's
Dude, you
triggered.
remember
Holy
that
shit.
clip?
Yeah,
Mark is just like, you got a ward, bro. Like this shit.
and he's like, I know, I'm gonna fix it. And I was like, no, dude,
Yeah,
you
that
don't know.
clip, that's literally.
Good. Yeah.
He's right there, bro. He's literally sitting next to you.
it's so funny.
We'll talk when the camera's off. We go
Yeah.
No, dude, we talked with the cameras on.
Oh my god. Well, you guys have anything else you guys want to talk about?
Oh, you want to go for one more question?
All right, yeah, we can do
Last
one last
question.
question.
All right.
chat.
Look for a question.
Wait, let him hear that you want one last question, and then let people come up.
Oh, didn't they?
with questions.
Oh no, it was an April Fool's joke. I forgot the breaking point too.
Oh, that was just a meme, yeah.
Yeah,
That was clearly a meme.
yeah.
Yeah, Josh.
I just saw it and I was like,
Clearly.
Stupid.
Now chat's going
I
too
can't
fast to
even
read
read this
anything.
shit.
Yeah.
God damn it.
All right, some of you guys who are asking bad questions, self-reflect and realize they're bad questions and stop asking them. So we have only
type
good
and
questions.
think about it, then don't type.
Yeah. Read what you type, like screenshot it, show it to your friends, and then ask if they
That might be a
approve.
little too slow of a process.
No. It's important.
No, just type it out.
You know, it's like,
read it.
we can only
Do you sound
choose
like
one.
a fucking idiot? Then don't. delete.
Whoever would do, especially in Twitch chat, dude. I don't even do that. I completely.
Wait, this chat's moving so fast. What the fuck?
All right, well, that's your guys' fault. We were going to take another question, but we can't read any.
Can't read it.
Yeah, so we can't ask the question.
Uh,
Scarra should coach Envy. I'm
CLG
handsome.
Lyra.
TSM Lyra.
See a lot of people.
Haha, gay
Faking
dicks.
Future for
Will you be my
Envy,
dad?
Faker best player,
CLG Lyra.
Smoothie, penis
your
size.
penis size.
Oh god.
Scar explain.
Lol.
Yes, forgiven DNA.
Did we just go into sub mode?
Someone just. Oh, the fun's
boo.
gone. Who did it? Which
Dr.
mod did it?
WrestleMania. Woo!
I'm not going to watch that.
All right.
People were really hyped about WrestleMania.
Maybe we don't need the last question.
I would be down to go to a bar and get, like, messed up, but just have WrestleMania on as the background, you know?
Yeah.
That's true.
I think that's what you're supposed to do. Oh, a subscriber only.
Ah!
Here we go.
Freedom.
Freedom.
Alright, this shit
Yeah,
is done.
Una done. All right, last question. Una nudes when? Send nudes. All right.
Let's just call it.
Let's just call it.
All right. Yeah.
Thank
we're
you
done.
guys for watching. It was a fun episode.
The question we're going to answer is, when are we done with the question and answers? We're done right now. Thank you guys for watching. This was a fun episode.
Yeah.
This was kind of the I messed up a little bit to a lot this episode, but this will kind of be your...
It was a feeler. I'm glad we had this episode.
Right, so we wouldn't mess up during the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's going to be... We'll be going to individual games a lot more closely now that we're only following one series at a time. And so going into playoffs analysis, we'll be going like game by game, essentially.
Yeah, there'll be more specific analysis for these series.
Because as opposed to other weeks where we have to cover like 9 games plus at a time...
You guys aren't going to playoffs, right?
We will be on the desk.
We will be on the desk for playoffs.
But we will not be going to Vancouver or whatever it is. Is it Vancouver?
Damn, you guys got...
My lips
You guys
are
got
sealed.
dick.
Oh, you can't talk about that?
I don't know.
We don't talk about that.
I don't know
We can't talk about
where
that.
it is. Anyways.
No, we can talk about the fact it's in Vancouver, dipshit. That's the other part of that statement that I'm not supposed to talk about.
Well, it is in Vancouver. Anyways, thank you guys for watching.
Scarra's like, oh yeah, I don't know where it is.
Scarra's
Scarra.
leaking fucking everything.
They've been selling tickets for months to go to
Acting.
Vancouver.
Acting.
Thank you.
Vancouver, where's that?
Thank you guys for watching. If you came in late, or if you want to see the VOD, our VOD will be on our YouTube or my YouTube, Scarra Official, after this. Additionally, we have SoundCloud now. We have audio podcasts that will be released every Tuesday on soundcloud.com/postleaguetime.
Make sure to follow all of the social media, Post League Time,
Especially us
Facebook,
four,
Twitter, and
specifically.
Instagram, and
Yeah.
us. Where can they follow you? We're not. Gonna
We
go
have
through
a
this.
rotating
Yeah,
banner
it's-
down there. Yoon is not on there.
Yeah,
he
he
might
doesn't
get
face
added.
Yuna.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What?
We
Follow
might.
me.
If you guys want really dumb tweets, I had to unfollow him.
That's bullshit.
I unfollowed you.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll be
Alright.
back next week.
See you guys next time.
Bye-bye. Have a great day.
All right, but seriously, let's talk about the things while the mic's still hot.
But that's not quite what happened, right?
Yeah, what happened?
Wait, so Afro did what?
Yeah, what happened?
Afro fucked my girlfriend. That's why I love COG.
shit.
What the fuck?